Yo, what's going on, everybody? Hello. Thank you so much. So, my name is catalystz. Welcome, everybody. In these late evening European hours, welcome to All Remembrances Glitchless. This is Elden Ring. To my right is my good friend, Epic Dude Guy. Thank you for joining me. And to my left is also my good friend, Penek. Thank you for joining me as well. They will be helping me with commentary. Penek is actually routing some blindfolded Elden Ring, and Robbie here has
played this game. Yep, let's
casually,
go.
yeah. So he's more than qualified. Anyways, so one thing I'll mention before I start is that in Elden Ring, just like in the Souls games, you get to choose your class, which normally casually doesn't really play a huge role. But in a speedrun, it's pretty important to start as samurai. The reason for that is to start with the Uchigatana, which is a weapon that has bleed. I'll explain what that is good for later. And then I'm also starting with a bow, which is very important because it's going to allow me to perform like a small trick where I can save a little bit of time. Then a keepsake is like a special extra item that I get to keep. At the start, I pick a Lance Between rune, which basically is a bunch of resources. I'll be able to use them to purchase stuff. And then, of course, I have to name myself Frank Z because that's important. And then also, this is my character, so that we have all the Game of the Year contenders here on stage. Anyways, Robbie, please get ready to press the button. Yes, the honor is yours. So 3, 2, 1, go. Well, so the run starts in the Chapel of Anticipation. First things first, I'll do some menuing. I'll basically just unequip a bunch of stuff. Gotta pick this up. There we go. Already messed up 2 seconds in. That's great. Yeah, so I already performed the first trick, which you probably didn't see, and that is I was blocking while I pick up the first item. What that allowed me to do is to skip the pickup animation immediately, instead of basically having like a slow pickup animation where my character stops sprinting, which is, you know, I would say the fastest way to move, but that's not actually the case. But yeah, we'll be sprinting for most of the run. Especially because out of combat, we do not lose any stamina in the top left. Also, I died, but that's on purpose. There's going to be a couple of deaths on purpose. Maybe a couple more. We'll see about that, though. Yeah, you're basically supposed to fight the first boss there. But even if you beat him, you just continue onwards, and you kind of fall off of a cliff and spawn in the graveyard here. So it's actually faster to just go ahead and jump off the cliff faster. So you see me jumping up the hill. That's exactly what I was saying. It is actually slightly faster to be jumping uphill and even on flat ground, so you're going to see me jumping quite a bit. It's not as important to optimize it, but yeah, I'll be trying to do that, especially when I'm out of combat and I have infinite stamina. Stamina is the resource that, you know, you need to have at least one stamina to perform any kind of action in this game. So what I should explain as I pop the first rune, the starting gift, and approach the first grace, which are kind of like checkpoints if you're not familiar with the Souls formula, is what this category is actually about. So it's called All Remembrances and Glitchless. Should probably be called No Major Glitches because I'm going to perform a glitch here, or one could argue.
Don't look. Oh.
Yeah. So this is what I use the bow for, basically. If I jump and I two-hand the bow in my right hand at a specific time mid-air, it allows me to skip the landing animation, so I save a little bit of time. Over the course of the run, it probably adds up to like good 20 seconds maybe. Here, I'm going to pick up the smithing stone, which allows me to upgrade weapons. And I'm going to speak to this merchant and I'm going to purchase some items. First, I buy throwing daggers. I also buy a crafting utility that allows me to craft items on the go. And I also purchased pots, which I will be also using to craft some stuff later, but I'll mention that when it comes, when the time comes, anyways. So yeah, so all remembrances, this category, basically remembrances are kind of like the boss soul equivalents from the Dark Souls series, meaning that those are items dropped by sort of the major bosses of the game. There's exactly 15 of them. We'll also be fighting some other bosses that are on the way, but those 15 bosses need to be defeated. Their remembrances obtained, and then the credits reached. So that's what we are going to be doing. Another kind of funny thing that I can show off here is there's a small trick that you can do. Normally, if you light a grace, you cannot actually menu or anything like that. But if I face away from the grace and then start lighting it, during the turnaround animation, I can open the map and fast travel to the grace. And now there's a cutscene, but because the game was in a loading screen, the cutscene doesn't really load properly, so you only see the dialogue without anything else showing up, which is kind of funny.
Oh, I didn't know you were playing blindfolded, Kata. What?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be a glitch though?
Yeah.
Leave that to Chops, okay?
We don't talk about that.
Yeah, we don't talk about that here. But yeah, so what happened there is I got the Grace. I talked to Melina, which is, you know, our kind of like the Firekeeper character of this game. And she gives us a horse, which is great, because now I get to travel a little bit faster. You're going to see me horsing around quite a bit. On the way here to Stormhill, I pick up the Golden Seed. The Golden Seed allows me to get extra charges for my flasks. Flasks are the consumables on the bottom left. You can see Flask of Crimson Tears. It allows me to replenish my health points, the red bar in the top left, and also my FP, focus points, which is the mana, essentially. The start of this run is sort of going to be kind of a setup, because the game is very much open world compared to Souls. So I get to roam around a lot, and I'll be picking up the things for my build. I'll be using the Serpent Hunter. That's going to be the main weapon for this run. So I will also be optimizing the rest of my build for that particular weapon. Here I pick up the Strength Knot Crystal Tier. This is basically a thing that I can put into my Physic. Physic is like a new feature in Elden Ring that From Software introduced. And it allows you to mix certain concoctions, essentially, and get bonuses based on it. This one boosts my strength, and that's also what the Serpent Hunter scales off of, so I'll be getting extra damage. Here is this Godric's Knight, rather. I'm gonna do a charge attack on him twice, and then hit him on the ground, and he's gonna drop the Golden Vow, which is an Ash of War, which we'll be using. I'll mention that as well. And here's a small little skip. Let's see if I get it. Okay, cool.
Nice. That was good.
Took the damage there, so I knew I was safe. And I can progress further. I'm going to heal up my horse so he doesn't rip. That would be unfortunate. And then here on the way, I'm going to be rather picking up lilies and also mushrooms. These are crafting materials that I'm going to be using to craft sleeping pods. Those are going to be very, very, very essential in some parts of the run. But yeah, I'll talk about that as well. I pick up more smithing stones. These are regular smithing stones, which I'll be using to upgrade the Uchigatana. And I purchased more of them here. And I also purchased the pickled turtleneck from that merchant. That's basically an item that in combat it's going to be regenerating my stamina faster. And we're only going to use that on the very last boss of the run. So yeah, remember that. Here with some nice pathing, I basically just clip down, don't fall. And here you see me picking up the Trina's lilies, more mushrooms. And now I'm heading to the Third Church of Marika in order to pick up my physic and some other materials as well. Here, like the most annoying part of this game is picking up items on these coffins. If you play the game casually, I'm sure you can relate. So I'm going to try to get everything. I'm getting golden runes. Those are, again, consumables that will allow me to get the currency in the bottom right that I have 240 of. The currencies, besides, you know, purchasing items, as I've done so far, is also used to level up my stats, which will make our character stronger. And then I also pick up a cookbook, and cookbook is essentially just a book with a bunch of recipes. But instead of actually cooking stuff, which, you know, the fact that it's called a cookbook and you do not cook with it is kind of a bait and disappoints me greatly.
You don't cook arrows? What?
Yeah, it allows me to craft special items. And the sleeping pot that we'll be using can only be crafted with that cookbook. So here I did the same trick where I'm lighting the grace and warping to it at the same time. The reason I do that is to replenish my health and everything. And we picked up the physic, and we picked up a sacred tier. Sacred tiers also allow me to boost my flask, but instead of boosting the charges, they boost the potency of the flask. So that means one charge is going to replenish more HP or more FP as well. And from here, I'm heading over towards Fort Height. The reason I'm going there is because I'll have to come back later anyways. So I'm going to get a grace there. And on the way, there are two very important items for assembling our build. One of them is this cracked tier, spiked cracked tier, which is going to be boosting charge attacks. It's also part of the physic, which I'll be drinking before a lot of the fights. And then I do a small detour here and get the Axe Talisman, which also boosts charge attacks. The Axe Talisman is basically like an accessory that you equip. Cool little trick, again, that I'll do here, hopefully, is I'll jump on the chest and open it as I'm standing on it, which cancels the fall animation, or the opening animation by falling, and it allows me to pick up the Axe Talisman immediately. Neat little trick. Then I quit out, and you've seen me, this is the first time I quit out. The reason I do that is because it actually resets enemies to their default positions. So the bear that I aggroed there was asleep again, which I would be as well, but yeah, I have to do this run now, so instead we are here. More mushrooms to be picked up. The pickups actually can be RNG, like the amount of mushrooms that you can get between 1 and 3. I think I have only like 3 of them now out of 3 pickups, so that's not great, but we'll manage.
I mean, luckily in this route, we don't really depend on it. There are like other routes with another weapon called the Bloodhound's Fang, where you can actually get frost grease, and you're really dependent on how much you get there.
Yep.
But yeah, we don't rely on that here at all.
Yeah, on top of that, there's mushrooms kinda close to some graces, so worst case scenario, we can always get more of them because they respawn. So from getting that grace at Fort Heights, I'm gonna head over to Caelid. Caelid is basically like a kind of mid-game area, so I would get wrecked here. We'll be coming back because there's a boss that we have to kill, but right now I'm gonna be getting more resources to get our build going, right? So that's gonna be the Flame of the Redmane's Ash of War, and also Flame Grant Me Strength incantation. So the Ashes of War, we got the Golden Vow earlier from the night, and now this one, Flame of the Redmanes. Those are essentially abilities that you can put onto weapons, and they do cool stuff. So Golden Vow is gonna give us extra damage and also extra resistance. And Flame Grant Me Strength is an incantation, so that's a spell, and that boosts physical damage by 20%. It only lasts 30 seconds. A lot of the fights are going to be longer than that, so I'll be running out of that buff, trying to maybe reapply it in the fight or whatever. But yeah, it's huge. It's a big deal breaker. Like 20% doesn't sound like a lot, but it really changes the fights.
Yeah, especially when we're stacking all the buffs together. So it's really gonna depend, like how if the fight goes wrong early, you lose a lot of time simply because the buffs run out.
Yeah, that's correct. So you saw me kill the beetle there, the invisible scarab. Got the Ash of War, and that one is also super crucial. And I need to mention that if you're familiar with Elden Ring, you might be thinking, why is he getting this Ash of War when it's total crap now? Well, I'm not playing on current patch. I'm not playing on 1.08.1, which is the current patch, because that Ash of War got super nerfed. So we are actually playing on 1.05. I'll mention the other reasons later when they come into play, but this is like one of the biggest reasons why we are playing on an older patch rather than playing on the current patch, because it would just be quite a bit slower. And also, what the Ash of War actually does is basically kind of like a spell that you send in front of you, and it's a bunch of flames. It's like a wave AoE, and it doesn't deal much damage unless you know, put it on a weapon that you upgrade and you have scaling and stuff. But the main thing is that it does poise damage, and poise, if you're not familiar with the concept, basically every boss or every enemy, besides having a classic health bar, also has a poise bar. And if you deplete the poise bar, the enemy gets staggered. So we'll be using that a lot to help out with a lot of the fights. And not just help out, because in most fights in this game, you don't have that many openings. But if you stagger the boss, not only do you get an opening for a big attack, but the boss is also taking extra damage at the same time. So it's going to be very crucial, and you're going to get to see that. There, I did a small jump, basically. You're normally supposed to get to the first Legacy Dungeon, which are kind of like the Dark Souls-y areas in this game, right? Not part of the overworld. Stormvale Castle is the first one. And that jump that I did there, and these jumps here, take me directly to Liurnia of the Lakes. So I'm getting basically to like the second big area of the game without clearing the first one. That allows me to go ahead and just come back later and kind of steamroll through the stuff that we need to do in Stormvale.
Has that been patched out in current patch, or am I mistaken?
No, that's
still
the
there?
same. Yeah.
Okay.
Still the same. The shortcut is intended, of course. I did like a small jump there, which makes it faster. It's kind of actually precise, but it wasn't too big of a deal. And yeah, it's sort of one of the reasons why speedrunning this game can be kind of tedious, because there's a lot of setting up, as you can see at the start. And the fact that you can skip past Stormvale is definitely part of it, because the game is just way too opened up, and then the pacing can kind of suffer a little bit. The goal right now is to get to Volcano Manor as fast as possible, which is a different Legacy Dungeon, which is kind of like late mid-game-ish. And the reason for that is because we can get the Serpent Hunter there basically for free, since we need to go there to kill a boss anyways. So in order to do that, we're going to be entering a different legacy dungeon, which is this Raya Lucaria Academy. And in order to do that, I need to go get a key. So I'm going to do that. And while I'm on the way, I think we have time for like 2 donations.
Absolutely. I'm going to hit you up with a $5 donation from Strife the Historian. This is a message for Epic Dude Guy. Hi, Strife here. I just want to hear his voice for a bit before Kata is too good at commentating his own run again. Love you both to bits. Hope I can be here at next ESA. 50K hype! I think that was meant to be 40K, but yeah, go on.
Can we hear his voice?
Yeah, thank you, Spike.
All right, and we also had, let's see, let's go with an anonymous $15 donation that has no comment, but thank you very much for that generosity. And do I have time for one more?
Nah, yeah, you gotta wait, dude. All right, I'll quit out just so you can read the one more, okay?
No, you're good.
Nah, all right, so I totally didn't mess up here, and that's why I quit out. Yeah, I pick up the key here, and I also pick up kukri. Those are like kind of different throwing daggers that will become very, very useful just in a moment. And what I try to do there is go to the right side of the dragon and jump around him in such a way that he doesn't aggro so that I can fast travel back here to this grace. But I got too close and he aggroed anyway, so I quit out to reset his aggro, and then we work back. Now we enter the academy. And from here, I have to run through the academy because, again, this place also has remembrance boss, Renala, that we need to kill. And so that means I have to progress through here anyways. So I'm going to go ahead and get a grace here and in the meantime also progress towards the Volcano Manor, because there's like a kind of a, not really an Easter egg, but a hidden feature of the game where we can travel there from here. But first, I'm going to use the kukri to draw aggro. So I'm going to throw a dagger on that wall. The Burger King heads here turn around and face the door. And I'll do a small skip here, parkour style. Saves a couple of seconds, but that was pretty neat.
Nice. Don't do this casually. It is pain. Like, it takes like 5 seconds, 5 to 10 seconds to go the other way, but we're speedrunners, so we go short way, of course.
Yeah, the collision is a bit wonky there on the railing. It doesn't really reflect the model, but with some practice, it's doable. It's not the first time. I mean, it is the first time, but not the last time that I'll be using kukri to draw aggro. We'll be doing that one more time. Basically, this game doesn't really have alluring skulls that the previous Souls games had. And using kukri actually works out, which is, yeah, pretty funny.
Yeah, one other thing you'll see Kata doing this run is whenever he needs stamina and there are enemies around, he will crouch to regen stamina. In early patches, there was a bug where you could, well, I don't know, a bug. Yeah, we can call it a bug.
Yeah, it's a bug, not a glitch, though.
Yeah.
That would be forbidden.
But yeah, you regen the stamina and you don't lose much speed. So we'll be doing that a lot in the run in legacy dungeons. Yeah, I don't know the word. But where we can't use torrent. So this is the next fastest method of traveling.
Yeah, that's correct. Also, another thing that I need to mention is that when you crouch, your stamina can start regenerating sooner. So I will be crouching even in fights sometimes. You're going to get to see that basically on the first fight immediately. Here we go to the roundtable holds because, well, we need to come here anyways at some point. And this is a perfect time to do it because I need to do stuff. So what I did here at the grace, or well, at the table, but it's a grace, I upgraded my flask. I learned the Flame Grant Me Strength incantation, and I also got my physic ready. Here I buy a bunch of items. One is a seal that will allow me to use Flame Grant Me Strength once I get 15 faith. And then I buy a bunch of weapons that I can put the Ashes of War on that we picked up earlier, the Golden Bow and also Flame of the Red Mains. Now I upgrade my Uchigatana to +2 for the next boss. And then I put, yeah, I put that wrong, so let's redo that real quick. I put the Ashes of War on the weapons, and now we come back to Raya Lucaria again.
Do you fight her now, or do you do it later?
Renala?
Yeah.
Yeah, later, way later.
Yeah, so we'll be using Uchigatana on the Godskin Noble in Volcano Manor, and then we'll be throwing that weapon away, right?
Yeah, later in the run I'll discard it so it isn't in the way in the inventory. But, well, hopefully, because this Noble fight is quite rough. Yeah, it's probably maybe even the scariest fight in the entire run, so hopefully it goes well. I'll be abusing the sleeping pots, hopefully, and some very, very well thought out attacks where I'll be trying to stagger and proc bleed and stuff at very precise times in order to, you know, skip some phase transitions and whatnot. Because again, like I said, this is like a late mid-game-ish area, so I almost anything there is gonna one-shot me and stuff.
Nice. We got the attack we want. So with the grab, that's going to teleport us to Volcano Manor. And that's just a neat trick that, yeah, FromSoft added, I guess, to make more options available to you as a player.
Yep, that's correct. The game hints at it a couple of times in some dialogues, but basically what ends up happening is there you get abducted by the Virgin Abductor, and because we are a Giga Check, Kratos cannot hold us back. So instead, we spawn in like this graveyard of these abductors in the Volcano Manor.
Yeah.
And then from there, I can jump to the right, as I did, and basically enter the Legacy Dungeon proper. It's sort of like a preview area. There's like a way to exit and go into Mount Gelmir, which is kind of like the overworld in front of this Legacy Dungeon. But yeah, you can enter it proper by just jumping to the right and rolling through the lava like we did.
Yeah, conveniently, this area also has upgrade materials we're going to need later on, a Somber 5 and Somber 6. So there are like two different upgrade materials in the game. One for like unique weapons, which we're going to be using, called Somber weapons, and then normal Smithing Stone weapons. And yeah, conveniently, there are like two of them we need here, and that's just going to be convenient for later on.
Yep.
And those are actually pretty hard to get if you don't get these.
Yeah.
There's very few of those. And I think the Godskin Noble has also been like a pretty staple first boss in a lot of routes.
Yeah, that's right.
A lot of categories
pretty-
go here.
Somewhat easy to kill without a build, and then gives a lot of souls for
Runes. Yes, I'm gonna place like a sleeping pod before Godskin Noble spawns. See what he does. Okay, I'm late, but hopefully it'll be fine. And I'll be using Unsheath a lot, which is like the special ability of the Uchigatana. See what he does.
Yeah, so we'll be getting bleed procs, and hopefully we stun him here. Nice, and that means we can get attacks in, and hopefully we get another bleed proc.
Now I need to throw another sleeping pod. I'll be dodging attacks.
Good.
That one-shots me, so I better roll that. And again, I'm gonna prepare it in such a way that the next attack is gonna stagger. I'll wait for him to wake up. And now I need to stagger him before phase transition happens. 2 more attacks into a riposte. And now he's guaranteed to start phase transitioning, so I'll throw another sleeping pod. I'll drink an FP flask so I can keep on using my ability. He's gonna fall asleep again. And now we're gonna do 3 more Unsheath R1s. 4 more R1s to proc bleed. And then 2 more Unsheath R1s and
Nice.
it's dead.
Clean.
That was good. Yeah, that is a scary fight, because if you die, like, you're using the sleeping pods and stuff like that, so it can be really, really rough. And there's no, like, good way to actually exit out of here, because you're trapped. Like, you cannot fast travel after being abducted until you rest at a grace, so it would have been really bad dying there, but it didn't happen, fortunately. So after that, I rested at the grace when I waited for the elevator to come down, and I leveled up 15 faiths so that I can use Flame Grant Me Strength on the next boss fight. And I also leveled up more strength. And I left some runes, 23k in fact, so that I can purchase more upgrade materials and also upgrade the weapon that we'll be getting.
Yeah, right there we did a small skip just to skip like going around by jumping up the lava, and then we can, yeah, go and go to Rykard Arena and get the main weapon for this run.
That's right. You also saw me using the quick step. It's basically like there's one more plate. Oh, that's not great.
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah, I think I might be on the bottom, we'll see though. Yeah, so you saw me using Quickstep with the dagger. We'll be basically using in just one other place. Okay, I'm at the bottom.
Oh, this is bad.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, we'll
have to come
lose a
back
bit
to
of
the
time.
grace. Yeah, it's no big deal. I just wanted to show you the Quickstep again, obviously. But yeah, we'll be using that like one more time close to the end of the run. And that's why I purchased the dagger, so we can get through areas where normally, like running normally is basically not possible.
It's just a very small optimization, and when you're a world record contender like Kata, you do those.
All right, well, as I'm running back to what we saw, I think it's perfect time to read some donos.
Thank you very much, catalystz. And here we go. Let's to start with $10 from Sui Machine. It says, "Take a sit, young Skywalker." Which that donation will be going to the Star Wars Jedi Knight Jedi Academy any % language choice bid war for German. That's an interesting choice right there. I wonder what you all would like to see that runner do. And then we've also got Speedy Door with $15 saying, "The ESA Marathon has always been a highlight of the year for me. Thinking of joining you in the summer."
Ooh, please do. We always need more people. It's really nice to meeting new people here.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
We also have $5 from, this is going to be an interesting name, Sob Emoji. Ooh, Elden Ring, so majestic. Elden Ring, oh, Elden Ring.
God damn it.
That was good. that was pretty good. All right, so I ran through the area where I dropped last time. The reason I dropped there is basically when you try to chain jumps normally, you're gonna get like a jump cooldown, you'll get a mini jump instead. But if you block between the jumps and do not chain them like exactly, like back to back, you can actually get rid of that cooldown and keep on jumping. That's how I, when I'm jumping uphill, that's what I do. But I messed up there and I jumped slightly too early, so I got a small jump and fell into the lava.
Yeah, so now we're at the very end of this area. We're gonna grab the weapon, and yeah, for some reason the game just lets us quit out here and teleport away, and we'll just be using the weapon and come back later.
Yep.
He'll have to wait for a little bit.
Just peace out. We lose a little bit of time, obviously, because I could just go and fight the boss there right now. Like I said, we have to kill him anyways, because it's a remembrance, and he gives a lot of runes. Oops. But instead of fighting him immediately, it is actually better to just peace out and upgrade the weapon first, and then come back with the upgraded weapon. So that's the Serpent Hunter. That'll be the main weapon of choice, the only weapon of choice, actually. And I'm running through Raya again to get to this teleporter. Or, I mean, Kratos is, obviously. And that allows me to get to Ichi, which is a blacksmith who, well, very conveniently sells the upgrade materials levels 1 through 4. And with the Somber Smithing Stone upgrade material, you also only need 1 of each material per upgrade level, unlike the regular smithing stones, where you need multiple. So Somber weapons can be upgraded to max level pretty quickly if you know where to go. So I'll talk to him. Make sure I purchase only 1 of each.
Yeah, losing runes here would be devastating. We would have to go... Yeah, I don't know. Do we even have a backup for that?
Yeah, you just have to do it with a lower upgrade, basically.
Yeah, okay. But yeah, conveniently we got 5, 6, and now we also got 1, 2, 3, 4, and we can all upgrade all the way to 6.
Yeah, and I have, as you can see, 35 runes left, so it works out absolutely perfectly.
Yeah, it's crazy how well that works out. Just the runes from the fight we did earlier just gives us barely enough.
All right, so here is going to be the buffing sequence that you should get used to, because I'll be doing it a lot. Drinking Physic first, Golden Vow second, Flame Grant Me Strength last, the buff that lasts the shortest and also is the most OP. Rykard starts, I open up with a running R2, we get an AoE, so I'll go to the left, I have to block this. And now I'll be shield poking, basically, so holding my shield up and pressing R1s, that's basically the highest DPS that I can deal. Next to it will stagger, and as he's on the ground, I'll finish him off in phase 1. But because Miyazaki loves multi-phase bosses, of course the boss also has a second phase. So while we're waiting for the first phase to end, I'm gonna rebuff.
Damn, what a cutie lying there. Nice.
And I'm gonna open up with a charge R2 again, aim for the head. See what the boss does. We get a skull line, that's kind of scary. But I'll go for the risky strats with the stagger. One more is gonna stagger here, plop. And now there's basically like an exploding line of skulls going around that could hit me. I'm gonna heal while I'm waiting for the boss to do stuff. And hopefully the line just kind of pieces out. You can see it on the left side there. That's a grab. Has a really long range.
Yeah, that should be good.
Jump over that, and that's
nice.
card. Nice. All right, that was pretty good. So one little optimization that I'll also do a couple of times is in this game, there's a lot of graces, right? Because it's a really, really big game. If you haven't played it, you should, but it's probably going to take you a while.
There's like 100 plus. It's crazy.
Yeah. So a small optimization that I can do is you can open up a list of the graces and you can actually favorite some of them. So they are basically you have them available through quick access. And so I did that for this grace that I just warped to that we took earlier. It allows me to save the inputs and basically travel there faster.
Yeah.
Here, this is like the most annoying room in the whole game because of these rats. So let's see if they troll me. Yeah, of course they do. Amazing. Okay. We are the rats. Cool. Well, I get trapped here by this special chest. So this game doesn't have mimics, but instead it has these teleporter chests that take you to places. And the reason I want to go and take this one is because it is actually the fastest way to go to Radahn, which is the next Remembrance boss that we'll be fighting. The reason I want to kill Radahn is because right now I want to upgrade my Serpent Hunter as fast as possible. And in order to do that, I need to go to Lake of Rots, which is only accessible through Nokron. And in order to get to Nokron, I have to kill Radahn. So that's what we're doing right now. Here, I'm going to do another bow cancel. And then we're going to be, or I'll mess it up, that's fine too. And then I'm going to be running through Celia, which is like kind of sorcerer town, and what you're supposed to do to go through it is undo the seal that's there, and that means lighting some fires around the town, but that honestly isn't very fast and not something that I would be very fond of, so we're not going to be doing that. Instead, I'll do some goats/horse parkour. So here's the seal behind me. I pick up the golden seed, and then I'm going to get on this railing, from this railing on this branch, then around, and then on top of this branch, hopefully.
Oh, please, come on. That's so close. Nice. Good. That is so much harder than it looks.
Yeah, it's very finicky to control torrent on the small branches.
Yeah.
So this is also more parkour. That was also pretty smooth. That basically just skips running around where, instead of running around, you get to scale up the mountain a little bit faster, scale up the cliff a little bit faster.
Yeah, we don't like doing puzzles. They take a lot of time. Okay. Yeah, so we grabbed another sacred tear here that's going to be used to upgrade our flask. So is that the one that'll be healing more for each flask? Yeah. So we'll be getting an increased amount whenever we chug it.
And then I'll be using a Stake of Marika Death Warp, which basically I'll explain in a second, but that's why I'm leveling up, because we're going to be dying again. So I make sure to spend all of my runes, spend it on strength, so we have more power. And then I jump here over a death plane, essentially, and fall into Radahn's arena. So now watch top left, you can see kind of like the statue, the character there. That means we are within the range of a Stake of Marika, and we can choose to respawn there. This is basically like a checkpoint that you get. It's not a full-blown grace, so you cannot level at them or anything, but you can respawn there. It's essentially a mechanic that prevents you from having to do like really, really long runbacks. And the actual range of that Stake of Marika is throughout the entire arena of this boss. So it allows me to death warp directly to the boss. Here, I immediately run back. The reason I do that is to deload the boss. So the boss is gone. Now it's going to shoot to the side, which is really convenient because I don't have to dodge anything, and it's going to charge at me, which is good. I'm going to fully buff, and now I'm basically hoping for some good openers. There's basically just one that is really, really bad, so let's hope I don't get that one. And I got that one. That's okay.
Oh, well, fuck. Yeah, and that's why we leveled our healing, so that means we don't get one shot.
You can also see that the Serpent Hunter doesn't do the special attacks anymore. That's just for the Rykard fight. Here it's just a very strong weapon.
Yeah, it is a really strong weapon. And the nice thing about it for speedrunning is it has no requirements. So a lot of the other very strong weapons in the game have requirements, and we don't want that for a speedrun when we try to go fast.
Okay, so we salvaged that. That's good. So what you saw me there, what you saw me doing there is just charge attacks, right? Which is holding R2. And that is basically why we're using the Serpent Hunter. Because the multiplier on the charge attacks, for some reason, when you compare it to the other Great Spears that the game has, like, it's insanely high. So it deals a lot of damage, and when you combine it with all the buffs that we have, and when you combine it with the physic that we have and the Axe Talisman that we have, we're just dealing a lot of damage. It's not even like our, peak just yet. There's going to be a lot more damage that we'll be dealing as well. And then I made sure to basically stagger Radan before he transitions to phase 2, where he jumps up and then comes back as a meteor. And during the stagger, again, he takes extra damage while he's staggered, and I'm able to kill him before he leaves. So we skipped the entirety of phase 2 that way. And now we are going to Nokron, like I said we would. So we come back to the Fort Height Grace, and from here we are scaling down. There's basically like a meteorite that drops and creates a hole in Limgrave in the first overworld. And it allows us to go down here to the Eternal City. I'm going to be doing some bow cancels and some bunch of jumping, and that will be a great time to read some donations.
Absolutely. So we're going to start with a $15 donation from Kralvando saying, "Hey, Kata, great to see you here. Best of luck on the run, and I will pray for some good gargoyles."
That's very relevant. Yes, thank you.
All right. We also got Prask OO with $15 for all the Speed fam.
Hell yeah. We're missing you here, Prasco.
And now we got $10 from Nico with a C. Kata, skilled player, but that is not normally. This very, very insane. They need to check him PC and game. Maybe he not cheating, but maybe he using the game deficient, and this can't seem on game screen. He needs to check up.
Yeah, I see the copy pasta got you.
Good copy pasta.
Yeah, got you real good. Thank you so much, Nico. I really appreciate that.
That is hard to read.
That is very hard to read, yes, and to understand as well. The mental capabilities that are necessary are, yeah, it's outstanding. Anyways, what I'll do here is I'll quit out because I aggroed some enemies, so I want to get rid of them. And I do a small detour here, and I'm going to be picking up a zombie summon, basically. So spirit summons in this game are a new feature. Again, if you've played Souls games before, but not Elden Ring, you can summon friends here, basically. And it's not like multiplayer other players or anything like that, but you can summon NPCs to help you out. But they're not just like special summons before the fight, like in the previous From Software games, but ones that you can summon within the fights. So I'll be using this summon only once for one specific boss fight, and hopefully it will help us out. It will basically allow me to kind of split aggro, and yeah, it's probably like the most annoying boss fight in the entire run. So that's the reason I'm getting these particular summons, because there's 5 of them, so they should hopefully allow me to split aggro much better.
Yeah, next up we also have another boss. It's called the Mimic Tier. It's basically what copies what you have on, so that's why we unequip everything and just make it useless, and then we kill it really fast.
I'm also going to buff up. Time my attack, and rip Kratos. Yeah.
God damn it, Kratos.
Great enemy felt, by the way. It was truly great, yes.
I mean, he is a god, right?
Fair enough. Not even clapping for that? Come on, guys. What the hell? Yeah, that's the support I want to see. I understand that it's 11 p.m. or whatever, but it's, yeah. Anyways, more running through Nokron here. There's also, the reason we want to go to Nokron, besides, you know, getting the upgrade materials and stuff, is that there's another Remembrance boss here that we'll be coming back to kill much later. But because we are here already, I'm going to be setting up that fight right now, or at least partially setting it up. So I'll be lighting these fires. There's 6 of them. I'll light up a couple of them now, and then a couple of them later. It's basically just to optimize pathing.
Bonfire lit.
Yeah. We hate puzzles, but sadly we can't skip this one. Not in this category, at least. So yeah, we just have to suck it up and do it.
So here, I'm going to get through the animals and get to this grace here, because we have to, again, we'll be coming back here a couple times. I'm going to have to rest to get out of combat. And we're going to go back to Road to the Manor, which is the grace that I took at Ichi. Now, the reason I come back here now is not to upgrade anything, because I don't have any materials at the moment, but I'm going to be heading over to the Caria Manor, the thingy in front of us. There's also this spell that tries to get us, but yeah, the defenses are not very good, so can just kind of zip, not zip, because that would be a glitch,
Zipping?
yeah.
What?
But we can kind of beeline it to
Some nice
to the
foreshadowing
entrance.
tomorrow.
Yeah. So also what I need to mention is that like inside of legacy dungeons and couple other places you cannot use the horse, so we have to run on foot. And yeah, again, jumping uphill to move a little bit faster. And fortunately, I'm not in combat right now, so it doesn't cost me any stamina. And the reason I decide to go to Caria Manor right now is so that I can speak to Rani and kind of move over her questline. It's an NPC. And the reason I have to do that is, well, there's two. One is to be able to go to the Lake of Rot through a teleporter and get my upgrades. And the second reason is getting the curse mark, which will allow me to get to 40 sacks, who's a Remembrance boss, much later on.
Yeah, that's basically a whole quest line that from Rani that we have to do to continue on. And it's just something we also have to do.
So there's enemies spawning here, but we can just kind of run through them. As is the case in, you know, most From Software speedruns, you're gonna see a lot of enemies being skipped.
Yeah, so in one of From Software's previous games that I've actually ran, Sekiro, they have something where they don't allow you to quit out. But luckily they didn't do this in Elden Ring, so we can just skip past them, and then if we want to de-aggro them, we just quit out and we'll be in the same spot still. But yeah, here we'll be getting the Grace, and then I think we'll be moving on to the...
No.
Oh, we won't?
No.
Oh, I got bamboozled.
Yeah.
But we'll go to the next boss and just carry on.
Yeah, so this is what I like to call Loretta from AliExpress. There are basically a couple of bosses in this game that are kind of just like spirit versions of their true forms. We'll be fighting the true form later on in the run. And yeah, you're gonna get to see why I call her AliExpress Loretta, because of how the fight is gonna go. Gotta dodge his attack. I drank the physic on the elevator, because the physic lasts for like a long time, like 3 minutes. And then I just apply Flame Grant Me Strength to get the 20% damage boost. Come towards Loretta, 1 charge attack, another charge attack, R1 to stagger, and that's it.
Nice.
So yeah, you see the potential that the Serpent Hunter has, and that is just upgraded to +6 still. We can go all the way to +10, so we're gonna be getting stronger later on for sure. And also what you saw me do there is the crouch that I mentioned. Done it a couple of times in fights now, but basically it allows me to start regenerating stamina sooner. It actually comes in really clutch because there are some setups in certain fights, like Commander Neol for example, where if I didn't use the crouch strategy, where I crouch after an attack to regenerate stamina sooner, I would not be able to get like riposte on time because I wouldn't have the stamina to do it. So it comes in very, very clutch in some situations. Then again, horsing around, this time through this building. It's pretty nice that we can actually use the horse there. I'm gonna trigger the elevator, because I cannot do that on the horse, but then I'm gonna jump back on the elevator as it's going up on the horse. And we're gonna talk to Rani, the doll.
Yeah, she doesn't mind a horse in her house. She's fine with that.
Yeah, and then she tells us that she has no memory of inviting us, and we tell her that we've come for no particular reason. And she appreciates our service.
It's just in the neighborhood, you know?
Yeah. It's fine. You had to fight a boss. It's fine.
Yeah, just horsing around, as usual. There was also like a dragon on the way that I kind of didn't even mention. Yeah, but you can just run around it. No big deal. I mean, you cannot really actually kill it here anyways, because it just pieces out in the middle of the fight and flies away. So here, in order to be able to leave, I have to talk to these NPCs. And then I'm going to take this Grace, because I have to come back. And now that we've talked to Rani, I can come back to the Ancestral Woods and go get the Fingerslayer Blade, which in turn, Rani will give me the some kind of an hourglass that I can use to go to get the curse mark, which is necessary for getting to 40 sacks. So we are progressing the quest line here, and the main reason, like I said, why I'm doing it now is so that I undo a seal that leads to a portal that allows me to get to Lake of Rot, where more upgrade materials are located. And there's also Astel, who's a Remembrance boss. So I'm basically killing 2 birds with 1 stone, where I'm getting the upgrade materials, and I can just take a Grace there and come back later. Here I do a neat little skip, land on the pillar to interrupt my fall damage, and then jump here instead of dropping through the church on the right side. And here I'm going to pick up the Fingerslayer Blades in this chest, which is just a quest item. And I'm going to be warping back to Rani's Rise and going to Rani. As I do that, we can read a donation or two.
Absolutely. So, we had Sabamoji coming back with $10 and simply says, thanks for brightening up today. You guys did great. And then we also had Dr. T-Chops coming in with $50.
What?
And says, stop right there, criminal scum! Nobody uses a glitch on my watch. I'm confiscating your cheated runs. Now pay the resets, or it's off to jail. Hi, Speed Fam.
Hello.
Thank you so much, Chops. We are missing you here as well.
Last but certainly not least is Speedy Eris with a $6.90 donation, wishing goodest of luck, Sir Kata.
Thank you so much, Eris. Appreciate it. My dude on tech volunteering right now, so I'll try to do my best so he doesn't have to mercy kill me off. That'll be kind of neat. But yeah, so we talked to Rani. Rani gives us the hourglass, and now we are running to this rise, like Rena's rise or something. I don't know. I think that's the name. But yeah, there's the portal there, and we can use it to go to Lake of Rot. There are other ways to get to Lake of Rot, but for this route, this is the fastest. Hey, I was not wrong. It is Rena's rise. Yeah, I've played this game once or twice. Climb up this ladder. There's going to be a couple more ladders in the game as well.
This is not Demon Souls ladder where you climb it like 1 step per minute.
Yeah, but I mean, realism, obviously. It's like imagining all this gear and then climbing up.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is another area where you cannot use the horse, so I'll be running through. And I'll also be abusing quit outs. Funnily enough, the game's speedruns are timed using the in-game time. I mean, that's not that special because it's like the best way to do it, as it allows us to cut out load times, and also with some modification, it allows us to offset any potential time loss due to, you know, frame drops.
Yeah, lag.
Yeah, so that people with inferior PCs are not disadvantaged. But it has this byproduct where basically when you're quitting out like this, you're not losing time. And in this game, on top of that, there are areas like this where there's no stand-up animation after the quit out. When you load back into the game, normally in most places, and also in the previous From Software games, you're going to have a stand-up animation. So anytime you quit out, you're losing a little bit of time, like a second, second and a half. But in some areas in this game, like you can see, there's no stand-up at all. So the fastest way to actually get around this enemy is to basically quit out a bunch of times. Otherwise, I would have to be waiting out there, its attacks. There's also some ants that are in the way that are really, really annoying. So I'll also be quitting out for that, because as you can see, I have very little health. Okay, one more quit out still. And then there's 2 more, 3 more. Yeah, so quite a few.
Yeah, we are very underleveled for this area of the game, so we just want to use quit outs to get through it as safely as possible.
Yeah, that's right, because like these ants are insane. They have like a ranged attack, and as soon as I get touched by it, I would just get one shot. So that would not be very bueno, so don't want to do that.
I think even on my higher level character, I would get one shot by these ants.
Yeah, these ants suck, man. Even casually, they're a pain.
Yeah, there are areas in this game where the scaling really like ramps up. For example, in Caelid, you have Dragon Burrow right on top of it, which visually looks very similar. I mean, there are distinct areas, but it is very, very similar. And all of a sudden, the enemies there start dealing like 5 times the damage of those in Caelid. And you're like, oops. All right, more crouching to regenerate stamina. Here I'm going to try to do a bow cancel. The thing with bow cancels is that actually the timing isn't always the same. That means I pressed it too early if I get heavy landing like that. The timing isn't always the same for every jump, and it basically varies individually, so you have to make a setup and practice it for each jump, which can get really, really tedious. As you can see, I haven't really perfected it yet, because there are other things that I had to optimize and some rerouting we've done recently as well. So that's a lot of fun.
Yeah, this category is still very new, so like runs aren't perfected at all. Oh, well, the route is almost, but we just need a lot of practice in before we can actually get a really good run going.
Another quit out for this ant here. This ant is actually also being ridden by the Nox priestess. And it can hit me with like the whip, and then I can get comboed into one of those ranged spears. So that's why I want to quit out there in such a way that I spawn basically next to the ant or behind it. And that way I should hopefully not get hit. Otherwise, again, I would just get one shot. So here I get the Somber Smithing Stone 7. So that's another upgrade. And we'll also be getting the Somber Smithing Stone 8. While I'm on this elevator, I'm going to pop the Remembrance of Radan.
Yeah, that's something you'll be seeing a lot in this run. Just on elevators, where we have downtime, we'll just be organizing our inventory, favoriting graces, and yeah,
Stuff
just
like
using everything we can where we don't lose time doing it.
Yep. The good thing about normal menuing though, like for example, if I open the map, I cannot keep on running, but if I just want to unequip items, or you'll see that in a bit, I can just keep on sprinting forwards. So as long as I manage my stamina if I'm in combat, I can basically keep on menuing without really losing time. Like I can equip the helmet and I can re-equip it again without losing time. So that is pretty neat. I can also, you know, set up quit outs while sprinting, but there's some menuing that I cannot do while sprinting, and that's always what I'm going to try to do on elevators and in places where I'm basically not losing time to it. So here I'll take this Grace, which allows me to come back to it.
Nice. Good bow cancel.
Because here is another, thank you by the way, here's another smithing stone, level 8. So we'll get that one. And then I'll also run towards the next Grace here, because that is the closest to Astel, but I'm not going to fight Astel right now, because it is way better to just come back later and fight him while I'm actually stronger. Astel is one of those annoying bosses that has quite a bit of RNG, so the more power I can have, the less RNG is going to play a role, but it still plays a role. So here I do something quite special. I jump into Lake of Rot here, then I roll to basically cover my character in the rot, and then I jump off the lake again. And the reason I do that is I want to make sure that the rot buildup goes up as much as possible while I'm in it, and then when I get off and I get onto the platform, I unequip my helmet so that my rot resistance lowers and the rot triggers while I'm not in the lake. And for some reason, like it's the only area in the game where it works like that, for some reason I'm taking way less damage now from this Lake of Rot, because we are basically poisoned. So if I hadn't done that, I wouldn't be able to get through here without doing like the stuff that you're supposed to do casually. I wouldn't be able to out-heal the damage. But now I can just kind of hop through it and heal up, so that's pretty neat.
Yeah, this also works for normal poison, so yeah, just a tip for your casual playthrough if you ever find yourself stuck in another of Miyazaki's swamps.
Okay, here I'm gonna set up some menus real quick. We are basically getting, well, I got stuck on a route there, interesting.
I guess that's how you can lose time while menuing. You don't see where you're going.
We need a new patch with a little more opacity on the menus.
Yeah,
That'd be
that
nice.
sounds reasonable. I'm sure Miyazaki will do it if he's not too busy removing trees from the game to screw with
Well, if you remove
speedrunners.
that tree, you run into.
Yeah.
Please patch it.
So here I rested the Grace. I use my runes to level up some Vigor. Vigor gives me extra HP. You can see that my health bar increased a little bit, but I still will get wrecked by like 2 attacks. But at least I can survive 1, so that's nice. I make sure to have enough runes to be able to upgrade my thing here. Thing being Serpent Hunter, of course. And then, yeah, we're going to go back to the Ancestral Woods, and we're going to go through Nokron now to reach Langdale, which is the capital. And it's kind of like the midway point of the game.
No moves. Sag.
Yeah, not yet.
We're saving the best for last, I guess.
Yeah, I wish.
Yeah, that fight is not good.
We've got 2 fights now coming up that are probably the worst fights in the entire run. Like, this is very much the place where you reset the most when running this category, which is really depressing. Because you basically, if you reset, you have to go through all the setup and everything again. And you see that we've like spent a lot of time just horsing around and not that much time fighting. So if you go ahead and get here and then reset, it's usually pretty demoralizing. But we're in a marathon, not Reset City for once. So instead, we will have to push through no matter what happens. So for this fight, it's a Valiant Gargoyle duo fight. The second Gargoyle is going to hop in basically after I deal enough damage to the first Gargoyle. The goal is to try and kill the first Gargoyle before the second Gargoyle even jumps in, so I don't have to deal with both of them at the same time. I'm finally going to be using Flame of the Red Mains, where I'm staggering the Gargoyle and then trying to hit its head. That is its weak spot, and you're going to see that I can deal a lot of damage now, but it needs to go right, so we'll see. I'm going to buff up fully. I'm going to replenish my FP, because obviously the Ash of War costs FP.
Yeah, another thing you'll be seeing him doing is using the throwing daggers to just keep the posture down on the boss. So basically every enemy in the game has the posture meter that we talked about, but that regens after a certain amount of time, which is dependent on the boss. So we don't want that to regen ever, which is why we have the throwing daggers. So just attacking once with those will keep that posture meter reset.
Exactly, yeah. So you saw me do that there already. So as the first gargoyle dead, I'm gonna strafe this attack. It's 3 of these little flame of the red mains to stagger. So we got 1 off, 2, maybe 3. There we go, stagger. I'm gonna try to get more headshots. That's 1.
Oh, that's so good.
That's 2.
Yes, clean.
That went pretty nice.
Why don't you do that in runs? What?
It's almost as if RNG maybe played a role. Yeah, so here is when I drop some of the items so that they're not in my inventory, do not get in the way. And we're gonna hop into this coffin and we'll be heading over to my favorite fight in all of FromSoft games. This is the Tanimura special. Tanimura is the director of Dark Souls 2. And if you've played Dark Souls 2, you know that there's a lot of boss fights and just fights in general with a lot of enemies. And that's basically what we're gonna be getting ourselves into. So as we do that, as I'm running through Deep Root Depths, I think this is a perfect time to read a donation.
All right, in that case, I'm just going to say that after this donation, I'm actually going to be changing up donation reading with the wonderful MOD 366. So let's bring it on home with this $420.69 donation.
Wow.
Nice.
From Frenzy to Flame, who says, I just watched this fellow obliterate bosses that took me 30+ hours to get to, not including the time I spent fighting them in 30 minutes. I am broken.
Yo, thank you so much. That is an extremely, extremely generous donation, and I really, really appreciate it.
And with that, I will be wishing you all adieu for tonight. And stay tuned, watching you all. I very much appreciate you letting me take on the mic and enjoy it and just being very generous to All-Timer Fonz. And keep it up, chat. I believe in you. And with that, here's MOD.
Yeah, thank you so much for donation reading. And hello, MOD.
Hello. So, we're going to be approaching this fight now. This is the fight where I want to be using my summons. So this is essentially an NPC fight. Normally, if you're playing online, the game kind of fetches builds from other players. So it can be kind of interesting in that way. But because we are doing the run offline, the enemy builds are always going to be the same. I'm going to start the fight by buffing up. And I'm going to try to one-shot the Lance guy in the first wave. There are 3 waves overall. The first 2 have each 1 enemy. And then the last wave actually has 3 at the same time. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, these enemies are incredibly annoying because they have iframes when you spawn, so you need to get the timing especially right. And wow, you got absolutely destroyed.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you get bad RNG like Kata just did, they can just destroy your run. Like if they decide to roll and have iframes right after they spawn, there's like nothing you can do.
Yeah, when they're spawning in, they have iframes. They can immediately roll, so you saw the charge attack completely whiffed. And then I got clipped by the first part of that attack, and then I couldn't do anything anymore. Like in, for example, Dark Souls, I could maybe toggle escape to get out of it by toggling my weapon. Here, I couldn't do anything because it's a true combo, so I just got obliterated, which is fine. It's not a long run back, and it's the first wave that killed me, so we'll try again, and then, you know, use the summons for wave 2 and 3. I also have to regain my runes here, pick them up. Do not lose them. Okay.
Nice.
That was a little bit better.
Okay, 1.
Replenish FP so I can summon. Get the zombies here. Try to block Rogier. Wait for him to spawn in. Charge attack. He's blocked.
Oh,
He
come on,
rolled
please.
it again.
Yes, nice,
Okay,
2.
that's good.
Oh,
Rebuff.
work.
Heal. And now get ready for the 3rd wave. I'm going to start with the X guy. Should be able to one-shot him if he doesn't roll, which he did, but still got wrecked. That's good. I'll go for the Quickstep guy, who has a Carrion Slicer, deals a lot of damage. Also has a 100% physical damage reduction shield, which is amazing. Broke his poise, so we're going to riposte. And now there's only Lionel. He's busy, occupied, as you can
this
see,
is
with my
so good.
zombies. Okay,
Nice. Good job, Kata.
Yeah, that was decent. Second fight, as usual, is always decent. First one kills you, and then the second one is good. That's fantastic. All right, so I take this Grace, because this is actually where we're going to be fighting 40 sacks much later on. And I also warp to it to replenish my resources immediately. And now, because we killed 2 Shard Bearers, so 2 Remembrance bosses, we can, well, 2 Remembrance bosses and 2 bosses that have a Great Rune, which in this case was Radahn and Rykard. We can enter Leyndell, the royal capital. And through here, we can get to like the second half of the game, or I guess the last like 40%. And the reason we want to do that as soon as possible is to get, you know, +8 and +9 and +10 to upgrade our Serpent Hunter to max.
Yeah, so upgrade materials in this game are placed strategically, which means you can't get the very late game materials in any of the early game locations.
That's right, yeah.
So here we're going to be doing a small skip that just lets us get down quicker. Otherwise, we would have to run the long way around.
Yeah, this is one of the things that we have available with 1.05, is that small skip. That actually got patched out in 1.06. And
I mean, there is another way to do it. It's just way more tedious.
yeah, exactly.
We don't want to do it.
It is basically the same speed, maybe like a second slower, but as you said, it is way more tedious. So here I'm going to heal up the HP that I lost from the drop, and I'm going to quit out because the Urchi Avatar came out of nowhere. So we'll just despawn him again. And we'll be making our way through Leyndell right now. And then there's the Spirit Godfrey fight that we have to get through. And then there's going to be Morgott, which is kind of like the main boss of this Legacy Dungeon. This Legacy Dungeon is the biggest in the game. It's really huge. It has a massive underground area as well, which we do not actually have to go to. It's not mandatory for anything.
Oh, is Moog, the Spirit Moog, is he not a Remembrance?
No, he's not.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that.
But the real Moog is a Remembrance, and we'll be fighting him. Another quit out to de-aggro this archer, and we'll be making our way up through this dragon, or over this dragon, I suppose. Don't worry, there's going to be dragons we'll be fighting as well. Keeping on jumping to make it a little bit faster. I'll get this Rune Arc. The Rune Arc is basically an item that activates Great Runes, which normally if you kill a Shard Bearer and you get its Great Rune, you can go to a Divine Tower to activate it. And then if you pop a Rune Arc, you get like a special bonus. It takes a long time. The bonuses aren't that great, so we're not going to be doing that at all. But the reason I get the Rune Arc, that's fine. The reason I get the Rune Arc is because if I pop it, it's also going to give me a bit more extra max HP. So I'll be doing that later. So I got clipped by the lightning there, but yeah, survived. No big deal. Totally wasn't nervous. I do some re-equipping again. The reason I have to do that instead of just keeping the items is because I do not have enough endurance at the moment. So if I keep my armor on, I cannot equip everything and still be medium rolling. Basically, in this game, and in FromSoft games in general, the amount of equipment that you have equipped is going to limit your ability to move as long as you do not have enough stats that would give you enough stamina and enough endurance, essentially.
Yeah, and that changes the roll. So basically, when Kata has light roll or medium roll, he rolls, well, yes. Do you have more iframes, or is the roll just longer?
Nah, the iframes are the same, but the roll
Okay,
has different recovery frames, yeah.
Yeah, so you regen stamina better, and you just dodge better, which is always nice for safety.
So here, I quit out to get rid of the enemy behind me, so that I can buff up. And we're going to be entering the fight. I pop Flame Grab Me Strength as the boss spawns to save a little bit of time. And I'm hoping for an axe throw here. Like that.
Nice.
So now I'm going to open with 2 charge R2s. I'll most likely get hit here. Okay, I didn't even get hit. That's good. Hoping for a follow-up. No follow-up. That's not good. I'm going to strafe this attack, do a charge R2 behind him. Jump over the AoE. Hoping for another follow-up. Okay, that's good. Going to do another charge R2 that should stagger. And then I'm going to finish him off.
Nice. Good job, Kata. Slow fight, but we take those.
Well, it wasn't that slow, but it wasn't also the fastest. Like, as soon as you get the axe throw opener, it's pretty nice because you get 2 guaranteed charge R2s, and as you saw, they dealt a lot of damage, which is, yeah, that's neat. So this was like a perfect example, and coming up is another perfect example of how precisely we have these fights actually thought out and set up. There, I didn't use any Flame of the Redmanes for staggers or anything like that. I have to quit out here first to get rid of the enemy that I just aggroed. But basically, all these boss fights turn into like small puzzles where you're thinking constantly about how much poise have you dealt, how much is still stagger, how many Flame of the Red Mains are you going to use, how many attacks are you going to use, is there going to be a phase transition, do you want to stagger in such a way that you interrupt the phase transition, and so on and so on. So there's a lot of thought put behind them. And this is going to be like the perfect example. I really, really like this kill, so hopefully it goes well. I'm going to open up with 2 Flame of the Red Mains for a stagger. That's enough on Morgod. I use the Physic, and here I also only use Flame Grant Me Strength instead of also using Golden Vow, because otherwise I would deal too much damage. And before staggering him, I would already trigger his second phase.
Yeah, we don't want that. The phase transition has like this transition where he takes like very little damage, and yeah, we don't want that.
Yeah, so this was a little bit of a weird start, but basically I made sure to throw 2 throwing daggers there, actually, to deal enough damage at the end of the fight. And then he starts transitioning exactly as I do the jump attack to stagger him.
This looks good. Nice, GG.
Nah, I'll have to do one more hit, it's fine.
Really?
Yeah, it's because of the start of the fight. This is exactly what we are talking about with buffs running out.
Yeah.
There
GG.
you go.
It's also like knowing in advance when the boss is gonna stagger gives you such an advantage in the fight, and that's what most of these fights are based around.
Yeah, exactly,
It's
because
really nice to see.
Because, as we said already a couple times, not only do the bosses take extra damage, but also, if you time it correctly, you know that the stagger is going to happen. You can do like a follow-up charge R2, you deal more damage, and then usually during the stagger, you can still actually get a riposte after that, as you saw me do there. And then after the riposte, you can get another charge R2, so you get a lot of damage that way. Here we have to touch the thorns, and then we have to talk to Melina again. We get this medallion so that we can get on the elevator. I'm going to level up because I'm resting anyways. I get a bit of vigor. I get some endurance so I can keep more armor equipped. And then the rest just goes into strength so that I deal a bit more damage.
Basically, at the start of the game, Melina gives us this quest to go here, and now we finished that, and she gives us a new quest.
Yeah, she basically, we skipped one dialogue with her by not resting at any of the graces here in Lanedale as we came here, where she kind of friend zones us and just disappears. And then when it turns out that we cannot enter the thorns and get to the Earth Tree, she's like, oh, I'm back. And gives us this medallion and sends us a little bit further on. So there's definitely a lot more stuff to do still. But now I'm going to make my way through Lanedale to the other side. There's normally a seal here that only gets broken once you kill Morgod, so that's why we went there. And also it's a Remembrance boss, of course. I'll be jumping up these stairs. I didn't trigger the enemy behind me, the Misbegotten, so that's nice. I'm not losing any stamina, as you can see, so I can just keep on hopping. And then I'm going to quit out to de-aggro these guys, because they can actually mount the elevator with me, and that will be a disaster. So I'm going to quit out, get on the elevator, prepare to exit it a little bit earlier, and then I'm also going to have like basically just a portion of the game where I'll be running for a while. So this is the perfect time to read some donations or plug something.
Thank you very much, Kara, and hello, ESA. I'm MOD366. I'll be with you for the next couple of hours. And audience, how do we like this run so far?
Wow.
That's what I wanted to hear. So we have $5 from Nico with a C, saying, this game is so great, dude. I'm having the time of my life. So do I. And we have a $100 donation from Sophie Saint Going Well, without a comment, but thank you very much for that. And I do want to remind you that we still have some bid wars open. We still have some incentives open. So do put your money towards those. towards those. If you want to change some events, like the character for the Mario Party Superstars run that is in about 6 hours. Currently, Waluigi's in the lead with $150, followed by Donkey Kong at 120. Yoshi with 111 and Daisy with 40. If you want to change any of that, you have a little more than 6 hours left, but get your donations in now and you can make sure that there is a change. Back to you, Kara.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the generous donations, guys. Really appreciate it. Hope you're enjoying the run so far because yeah, there's going to be a bunch more running around. So we run through here. I favorited Roads to the Manor again because we'll be coming back there. Because right now, There's one more fight that's between me and the Consecrated Snowfield. And then from the Consecrated Snowfield, I can get to the Mogwin Palace, where I'll be able to pick up both the Sombersmithing Stone 9 and 10. That's going to allow me to max out my Serpent Hunter level. So that's the goal right now as we run through Forbidden Lands. One thing I need to mention is that the Glitchless rules are a bit memey in a sense, because this game, due to its open-ended nature, its pacing can be really weird. So in order to have a bit more of an enjoyable run, we decided to have a rule that kind of prohibits us from skipping any of the bosses that would otherwise be on our route. So for example, there's a skip for the first boss fight that I did, right? Gotsuke Noble, but I'm not allowed to do it in Glitchless. And also, I wouldn't really want to, because the 50k we get are really, really good, the 50k runes. But essentially, in order to get to the Consecrated Snowfield casually, you have to get the Halleck Tree Medallion, which allows you to use this rolled elevator, the ground lift of rolled that we're going to get onto, and end up in a different destination. And there are two parts of it, and one of them is in the Albinaric village in Liurnia. It can be accessed normally without killing anything. And then there's another one which is behind Commander Neol, and after picking up those two medallions, you can get to the Consecrated Snowfield. However, there's a skip that you can do. It's a Marika, Stake of Marika Death Warp, essentially. But the thing is, while Neol is alive, if I do the skip, then I'm skipping Neol. But if I go and kill Neol and then do the skip, it's allowed, and it is actually still like much faster than getting the medallion. So after that clarification, that is basically what we're going to be doing now. So I get that grace, so I can come back here. I get on the elevator, go to the mountaintops, and then more running through the mountaintops.
Favorite part of the game?
Yes, this is where the game really like kind of fell off for me. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but
What do you mean? Do you not like running?
like this is really where sort of the exploration kind of fell off, where I started noticing patterns in the catacombs, the side catacombs, and this area overall just doesn't have that much stuff in it and is very large. So this was where the game fell off for me. But that being said, it's still a really good game. Like, it's still, you know, meh for From Software standards. So for the industry standards, it is still very good.
Hey, you're saying this as a Dark Souls runner. I'm a newer breed. I like this, even though of course the running sucks. It's a very cool area. Like this view across here is so scenic.
Yeah, but I'm not here for the scenery. I'm here for the speed.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I mean, you're a blindfolded runner. How fast can you be, obviously?
Yeah. Also, I'm not really seeing the scenery with a blindfold on. Let me be honest.
It's a good point, yeah.
Yeah.
But hey, blindfolded runners can be pretty fast. I saw Bubsias run the other day, getting an insane PB. So
He did great. He got the both ends of the coin with not finishing the first run and then PBing at a live event. Wow.
That's fine. That's a nice 1% meme, so I'm not surprised it happened in a marathon. Yeah, sometimes this guy has like NA aim and basically cosplays as evil geniuses in CSGO and misses everything. But sometimes he actually just has an aim lock. And yeah, this time he only hit Torrent, so you can see I didn't actually lose any HP. But that's actually concerning in a way, so I'm going to heal up. Because Torrent is going to take a beating in a second, and I want to make sure that he doesn't die. So we'll heal him up.
We love the horse because it can take damage for us. If we fell off there, that would be really bad. That means we would have to do the whole run back here. But luckily that didn't happen, and we heal him up, and he'll be ready to take some more damage for us.
Indeed. So here I just prepare my inventory again. I need a bunch of stuff because we'll be fighting soon. So this is just the classic setup, right? Like having the seal for Flame Gummy Strength, having the rapier for Flame of the Redmanes, and also having the scimitar for Golden Vow, and then of course the Serpent Hunter.
Oh my god, what was that?
I pick up the Lily there. Again, those are for the sleeping pods. And then there's a little bit more running around. There's some new routing that I could do here, but it actually wouldn't save any time, RTA, so I'm not going to do it. And instead, we're going to be taking a different grace here up on the Outlook. There's a nice monocular there, amazing.
Yeah, so are we going to be going to Mo from here, or what are we doing after this?
Yeah, so after this, we're going to be doing to Castle Sol, which is like, it's not a legacy dungeon, it's one of the side dungeons, essentially, but it's one of the kind of forts that you can get into where, you know, horse is not allowed, and you have to run through it and then fight Neol, get the medallion, but we're not going to be getting the medallion, just killing the all. But instead of running to Soul normally, what we're going to do is a cool skip to get there. So there's basically this tree that I'll be getting on top of. And for some reason, the tree has like really massive collision. I mean, in game dev, usually, you know, you make an object and you're not going to be changing the collision of each individual object, obviously. That doesn't make much sense. So when you scatter it around, you can end up with, an interaction like this. So I'm going to get to the cliff. I'm going to jump once, jump again, land on top of that tree, and then land on the edge here and barely survive.
Yeah, that is, yeah. Luckily, we can take advantage of that and just use it to our advantage. It is bigger than it looks, but it's still a hard skip to get.
So now we basically get directly to the boss fight. I'm going to buff up here, so that means physic. That means golden wow. And this guy also has 2 minions, so I'm going to have to get rid of them. The first guy, I'm just basically going to try to kill right at the start of the fight, before the enemies really aggro properly. Then I have to dodge attacks. There we go. Dodge that. Now I'm going to throw Kukri at Neil. The reason I do it is for extra damage, but it's also going to aggro the other minion. While he runs at me eagerly, I'm going to charge R2, R1. I'm going to rebuff. He's going to start transitioning to phase 2. In the meantime, I'm going to use Flame of the Red Mains twice to build up poise. Wait for him to do an attack. Jump attack for the stagger. Immediately into a riposte. Charge attack after that, and now he should be transitioning. I'm going to run away, but make sure I stay close enough so that he actually charges at me. Reapply, Flame grant me strength. Dodge this attack. 2 more charge R2s now because he gets tired because he's old. This charge R2 is going to stagger, follow up into a riposte, and 1 last charge R2 should maybe kill. Let's see. Look.
GG.
Perfect.
Yeah, so a lot of the fights in this game are basically scripted, just because we have such good practice tools that we know exactly what poise damage we have to do to the boss and what levels we need for that. So like this boss, when we get like good RNG, it's just easy fight.
It's not easy. That was
Well,
really
easy,
difficult.
but-
Like, yeah, just keep on downplaying my achievement, dude.
I don't mean it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have you on commentary next time, sure,
Oh,
dude.
fuck. No, I mean, it's basically scripted, right? As long as we get the RNG we want and we
Yeah.
do the inputs correctly.
Okay, so here's the skip that I was talking about. Again, I basically jump over a kill plane, and we're gonna land on this rock. Did I hit it? No. Okay, that's fine. We have to do that again. I got bad weather RNG. That was fog. I actually couldn't see where I was jumping, so I'll blame that. Yeah, so essentially there's like an area underneath us where there's a stake of Marika again. And I want to jump in such a way that I land close enough to the range of that and be able to spawn in the consecrated snowfield, or the entrance to it anyways. Let's try that again. Okay, it seems like the weather has cleared up, so I can actually see where we are jumping. I'm not kidding, by the way. That's
Is that like the only weather RNG in the run?
Yeah, basically.
Huh.
There we go, that's perfect. So now we're gonna land more to the right, and see in the top left, there's the icon again. We're gonna die, and we're gonna be able to spawn at the stake of Marika here inside of this dungeon. And as we do that, this is a good time to read a donation.
Wonderful, thank you very much. We have an anonymous $100 donation with a bit of a sad message, because Anonymous buried their dad 1 week ago after he lost his fight with dementia. But they left to give some money for this cause, so this doesn't happen to anyone else. So thank you very much for that donation. I'm sorry for your loss, but thank you so much for contributing.
Thank you so much, and my condolences, of course. Alzheimer's is actually a disease that is close to my heart as well, because my grandfather, passed away to Alzheimer's, but he got to live a really long life, and he got to enjoy a lot of it as well. And thanks to my amazing grandmother, who looked after him when he was old and suffering from the disease, he was able to live almost 30 years with it, which is just incredible. But that's why I'm super proud to be able to try to raise money for charity here for Alzheimer Fonden, and hopefully contributes to being able to spare other people from having to deal with the donator and my grandpa had to go through. So Thank you very much, guys, and keep on supporting the event. So now we are in the snowfield. I got a little bit lost, so I quit out just in case. No, I'm kidding. I quit out because there's an enemy that spawns behind me, and I had to make sure to despawn him so he doesn't kill me. And I'm going to make my way to this inner consecrated snowfield grace. We're going to take it because we have to come back later. And now I'm immediately going to Mogwin Palace, basically. In order to get to Mogwin Palace, there's a teleporter that I have to activate. And in order to activate it, I have to kill an NPC. And you saw earlier how killing NPCs actually goes, right? So it doesn't go that great usually. You saw that on Fias Champions. So instead, I'm going to try to do a better strategy here and just have the NPC kill itself. We'll see how that goes. In the meantime, I'm also going to pop Morgoth's Remembrance so that I can use the runes I get from it for an upgrade, because we'll be picking up the materials for the Serpent Hunter here.
Yeah, so he's basically going to be tricking the AI to kill itself by jumping off.
Don't spoil it, what the hell?
Oh, sorry. Were you saving that as a surprise?
Of course, it's funny.
Man. But yeah, we'll be doing that.
Yeah, so we get invaded here, which is basically like, this is sort of like a multiplayer interaction in a way. You can get invaded by players if you play online and stuff like that. And From Software likes to simulate a bunch of that stuff with also offline NPCs. Especially in DS2, there's a lot of that, which I particularly didn't enjoy that much, but some other people who, you know, tend to play offline a lot were like, yeah, that's a cool experience. So
bye-bye.
There he is. Yeah, bye. That was really fast.
Holy. Nice.
Good stuff.
Yeah,
so this portal wouldn't be activated if the invader isn't dead. So eats itself off the cliff. We can enter Mogwin Palace. This is basically a legacy dungeon, but it's not great. It's very small. The start of it allows us to use the horse, so we'll be doing that. But because this is sort of like you know, close to a late game area, if not a late game area, it has good upgrade materials, and that's why we are here. We are here for the +9 and for the +10.
Yeah, and of course to kill the boss at the very end of the game. Oh well, not the game, the area.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll just be skipping all the enemies and getting the materials we need.
Yeah, here's the +9. And also there's going to be a pretty cool skip that I'll do. I have to quit out first because there's like a big summoner that summons this giant skeleton, and I don't want to deal with him because he has ranged attacks, so I wouldn't be able to do the skip otherwise. And it's basically just a bunch of parkour, but it's yeah, it's pretty neat. So hopefully it goes well. So quit out to despawn, and then I'm going to abuse this rock and the collision that it has to get out of bounds. There we go. Nice. So now we are out of bounds. It doesn't even look like it, really. And we can, instead of going through the entrance to the Legacy Dungeon itself, we can just kind of jump to like, I don't know, like 25% in, essentially, by doing a Spirit Spring jump over here. Cool. So these enemies are basically just zombies that kind of explode. They can make you bleed and stuff, but they're very slow, so I can just run through here. They're not really supposed to pose like much of a challenge, but yeah, if you get overwhelmed, they can definitely kill you.
Yeah, again, they can block you if you're unlucky, so just a little more RNG. We hopefully avoid.
Yep. Nice darkness. So this is one of the things that the Elden Ring actually kind of takes from Dark Souls 2. They wanted to play around with the darkness mechanic in Dark Souls 2, right? And this game also takes inspiration from that and basically forces you to sometimes use light sources in catacombs and dungeons and stuff like that. But if you know where to go, you don't really need it, right? Because you can see there's a slight light around my character as well, so I can sort of see where I'm going. So I'll take this grace because I need to come back, and this is the second time I'll be using Kukri to try and aggro enemies, or I should say not aggro, but try to distract them. Thank you. I was looking for the word.
It's the Hitman coin.
Yeah, that's
Yes,
right.
It really is.
Oh, I hit the enemy.
Oh, no.
That's not good.
No.
Yeah, so we'll be in combat. I mean, the other dudes are basically checking on the guy. Well, let's see. Am I in combat? Yeah, this one frog, dude.
Luckily, they're slow.
So I have to jump back here. I have to quit out to get out of combat. If I didn't actually hit him with that, you know, no scope, Face can sign me up there, I guess. I would be able to just warp immediately from picking up that +10. But yeah, it's not a big deal. So we come back to Ichi, we're gonna get +9, +10, and then we come back to Mogwin Palace where we just were, and we're gonna fight Mog. Mog is a pretty insane fight. He has 2 phases, but if I do everything correctly, again, I'll be trying to stagger him at specific points because he has a couple of basically thresholds. Once you get past those HP thresholds, he's gonna be doing some scripted things. So I wanna make sure that he has specific amount of health at specific points of that fight, and specific amount of poise as well that I can stagger him and deal enough damage to basically skip some of those phases, if that makes sense. And if I do everything correctly, I should be able to complete the skip phase too. This is also where I use the rune arc. You can see my health go up a little bit. And I also will be using the throwing daggers here to keep up the poise. Very, very important, because this guy has a lot of long combos. He's like a fledgling Tekken player, basically, getting ready for Tekken 8. So let's see. Opens up with wrench attack. I can punish that with 1 Flame of the Red Mains. That's an explosion. Overhead, another Flame of the Red Mains. I need 1 more opening. So I can do charge R2, which will stagger. That should stagger right here.
Nice.
Follow up, try to hit the headshot. Okay, I hit the head, so that dealt extra damage. Really important. Now I'm gonna reapply Flame Grant Me Strength as he's basically doing a scripted attack. I'm gonna use 2 more Flame of the Red Mains. And now 1 more charge R2 is gonna stagger. Try to hit the head again. I missed, that's fine. Another riposte. Should be enough damage to skip phase 2 now. Get close to him. He's gonna be transitioning to phase 2, but before that happens, look, he's dead.
Nice.
And then he talks a lot. So we have to wait for him to finish talking. Mogwin.
This voice actor is so cool.
Yeah, a lot. I mean, voice acting in From Software games generally is pretty good. Unless you go back and play something like Eternal Ring or whatever, which, yeah, it's not very good. But everything from Demon Souls onwards has pretty good voice acting. And yeah, there are some voice actors in this game that had a lot of fun. I mean, Rykard probably #1, right? But
yeah. Together.
Yeah, that's right. So now I'm going back to kill the Regal Ancestor Spirit in Nokron. So we'll be lighting up these fires. And again, you see that I'm keeping my throwing daggers and the kukri actually on my hotbar. That is so that if Regal Ancestor Spirit decides to run away because he has a really annoying teleport attack, I can keep up the poise damage that I already dealt, or try to anyways. We'll see how that goes. It's another one of those fights that can go really, really well or really, really poorly, depending on the RNG. There's not really a chance that we would die, but yeah, he can just stall, basically.
Yeah, the teleport attack loses a lot of time.
The strat for that fight is going to be to use 3 times Flame of the Red Mains to stagger him, and then I'm going to try to get 1 or 2 headshots to finish him off really quickly, but we'll see how that goes. So that's, yeah, activated the fight. This takes us to the arena there. Let's enter it. I'm going to start by doing our buffing routine. I might as well do the full one. Normally I don't use Golden Vow, but that's going to give me a little bit of leeway if I miss an attack by chance. Okay, what do we get? Okay, I can just strafe that. 1 Flame of the Red Mains, kickback. There we go. 2nd. And 3rd for the stagger. And boom.
Nice.
Yeah, that went really well. Those are like, when you see this fight for the first time, you're like, damn, this is so easy. And honestly, it is, but if you just get the bad RNG, it can be so much worse, and you can lose like 30, 40 seconds easy.
Yeah.
So now the order of things doesn't matter that much, but essentially I'm trying to clear up everything else before I go to Fire Giant. That is because after Fire Giant, I'm forced to rest at a Grace, so I want to have as many runes as possible at that point to be able to really use that level up there. Since I'm already resting, I might as well level up, right? So
yeah, we don't want to be resting more than we need, so
yeah,
just getting it out all out of the way is the optimal routing here.
Now you can see how OP Kata is right now.
Yeah. Oh yeah, this is gonna die. Yup, bye.
well, not yet. There we go. Ow. Yeah, so you saw that was a lot of damage. That is because this is the 2nd legacy dungeon of the game. And, well, normally this boss is already like, you know, he doesn't have the most HP. But because we have come back here to the second legacy dungeon with a +10 weapon and with all the buffs and stuff like that, and I didn't even use the physic there to keep it for the next fight. Yeah, you can see that we did a lot of damage. So here's this ball, big ball, but if I jump, I don't even have to dodge it, so that's neat. I'm gonna heal up here, because this next NPC is actually insane. His name is Mungram, and I want to make sure that I avoid him. So I equipped arrows, I don't want those.
He can parry you and absolutely be a pain.
Yeah, he can get on this elevator, so that's why I'm just gonna quit out to de-aggro him. Because if he gets on the elevator, he can kill us, then we have to run all the way back from the classroom grace, and yeah, it's not good. So here I actually need to equip the bow, and I need to get my arrows. And we'll be fighting Renala. So Renala, phase 1 is kind of a gimmicky fight. You're supposed to break these seals, whatever you want to call it.
Something like that.
Yeah, that each of the students have. You don't actually have to kill the students. You can just hit them.
Oh,
well, I actually
nice.
killed that one, but yeah, I can just use the bow and arrows to actually shoot them from distance, which is really neat. Now Renala, that's normally in her eggshell when you cannot damage her, is gonna go down. So in the meantime, I can actually buff up to save a little bit of time instead of buffing ahead. And then we enter phase 2. And entering phase 2, there are actually 2 really precise charge attacks that I'll have to do here that will hopefully work out. Let's see. Okay, that was good.
Nice.
So there are 2 things that she can do there. One is the summon that she did that basically always keeps her in range, which is good. But then there's also like she can fly away essentially. And if she does that, you barely clip her if you do it correctly. So the first charge attack that I did, I needed to make sure that I stood to her side and attacked in such a way that I hit her in like the last active frames of my attack. So there's the least amount of recovery, basically, right? And that way, I can do the second charge R2 as soon as possible and barely clip her as she's flying away. So from there, what is more left is getting the curse mark, so we can fight 40 sacks later. I'm not going to fight him now because I actually want to have more strength for him. He's not really an early game boss or a mid game boss. It's very much a late game boss. And then there's also Godric still left before Fire Giant. So those are the 2 things I'll be doing right now. There's a lot of running. We have to go to the Carrion Study Hall where we have to invert it to be able to get to the curse mark. That's where the hourglass that we got from Rani comes into play. And that's a perfect time for some donations.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. I do want to remind everyone at home and in the audience that we have some wonderful prizes that you can win when donating. And of course, we have our 2 grand prizes for a minimum donation of $200, which are a custom ESA Nintendo Switch and a custom ESA PlayStation 5. You might have seen those in those wonderful videos that our prize master Lovare did. They look really wonderful. And if you don't own those consoles yet, you do want to get your hands on one of those. So a minimum donation of $200 over the whole week, cumulative, then you are in the draw for this prize. But Chet, I see this wonderful donation of Frenzied Flame still in the Omnibar. And I like those 5 digits, this 42069, you know. Is it too much to ask to try to make this appear as the donation total by the end of this run? I mean, I know it's over $1,000 to there, but can you make it, Chat?
It would be nice.
It would be really
Yeah,
nice,
it would
right?
be nice.
Hell yeah, it would be very nice.
Chat, it's up to you. Let's try this.
Blocked.
All right, so here, this area looks really weird because, like I said, this entire area is inverted right now. I got a bit stuck there with the hand and stuff, but it's all good.
They flipped it and forgot to unflip it. Yeah, but we'll be going through here, and for some reason, when we go out the door, everything is normal again. Yeah, don't ask.
It's Miyazaki magic indeed. So, yeah, I made sure to like drop on such platforms that I do not take lethal damage, because the fall damage in this game, and in all forms of the games basically, except for Dark Souls 2, is based on your max HP. So it's fairly predictable, but in Dark Souls 2 it's actually just in absolute values. It's not based on your max HP at all.
But yeah, the range for Elden Ring is much smaller than other games, so sometimes it feels unreliable because there's just small differences, and everything up after your half your HP bar just kills you straight up. So there's been a lot of complaint just from casuals, and I definitely understand that. I think it's like 2 or 3 meters or something. It's not a lot.
It's 4.
It's 4, okay.
Yeah. So 16 meters is going to be a fall that you still do not take any damage from, and 20 meters is a lethal damage fall that will just deal 100% of your health bar. And anything in between depends on like the weight that you have, your dexterity, and stuff like that. By weight, I mean, you know, the amount of equipment that you have, not the physical appearance of your character, which we are like, you know, 250 pounds, jacked Kratos, obviously.
Just carrying every weapon in existence.
Yeah, that too. All right, so here this elevator is very long. Again, this is to get to the curse mark. This is also, these kind of divine towers are the ones that I talked about where you would activate the great runes normally, but we're not doing that. And you can see why, because it takes a long time to get to one of these. So in the meantime, I popped all the remembrances that I had, again, to maximize the rune counts before I rest at Fire Giant. Pick up the curse mark, and then immediately go to Stormhill Shack. Another reason why I do the boss order the way I do it here is to minimize the menuing in the map when fast traveling. So that's also the reason I routed the things the way I did. And now we are coming back to, you know, Stormville Castle, which is the first legacy dungeon you're supposed to get into, and most players casually probably got themselves into, and the one that we skipped all the way at the beginning of the run.
Yeah,
Finally coming on to the first boss.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not going to stand a chance.
Except, you're going to be surprised, because normally if you play this game casually, you would expect a cutscene here.
Where is he?
Where is
What?
this guy? Yeah, he's gone.
He just left? What?
Yeah, he got tired, went to sleep.
Yeah, we already killed him in Leandel, which is why he's not here. So we can just skip, well, not skip him, just go straight through the castle instead.
Yeah, so normally there's Margit here. This is like the first kind of major boss that tests the player, kind of teaches them the fact that they get their ass whooped and they should go away and just kind of explore a bit more, get a bit stronger, right? But he's a clone of, or like a, yeah, basically a shadow clone of Morgoth's, who we killed in Leandel already, so there's no clone. And that means there's one less boss to fight. So obviously that's fast. That's another reason why you don't want to do this early. Besides the fact that now we have a completely different power level.
Yeah, it's just a nice little attention to detail by From Software that they, it's like lore accurate as well, so nice.
I feel like you can make anything lore accurate with these games because it's the fans that make up the lore anyways.
True.
Miyazaki has the easiest job. Put some item descriptions generated by ChatGPT probably, and then the fans just kind of figure out the lore.
Man, you're really fueling up the angry letters in here. You're probably gonna get a lot of complaints from all the lore writers.
Well, I'm looking forward to them.
Hopefully they donate.
Yeah, if you have anything to complain about in this run, like you can tell me through the donation to charity.
Yeah, send it through a donation. We'll happily take those.
Yeah, I'll relay it to my lawyer. All right, so here I'm just running through Stormhill Castle to get to Godric, the remembrance boss of this place, of this joint. And I'll be quitting out twice. The first time, again, is to get rid of the birds who can actually follow me all the way to the fog wall here. And the second time is to de-aggro this giant who has an AoE attack, and he might wreck me while I am buffing up in front of this fog here. This fight is also, it has 2 phases, but if I do everything correctly, I should be able to skip the second phase, so we'll see. There's 3 openers I can get, but 2 of them are likely. I can strafe both of them and get some attacks in, and basically I'm, again, trying to not deal too much damage here before he actually starts transitioning. So I started with a little bit of buffing, now I'm gonna get into the fight, I'm gonna buff as he's approaching, and then we'll see what attack we get. So I'll stand in a specific place, apply Golden Vow, go a little bit closer. I get the jump, so I strafe to the right. I get a charge R2, see what he does. Okay, I can just do a follow-up. That's quite a bit of damage, isn't it?
That's so good.
Yeah, and then 1 and 2, and he's dead.
Bye-bye.
So I basically did like a hit confirm there, if you're familiar with the, fighting game lingo. I saw what he was doing. as a follow-up to his opener, and I saw that I had enough time to hit him with another attack. He also talks a lot of trash, but yeah, gotta wait for him to die, and now we're gonna come back to the mountaintops. But yeah, I saw what he was doing. I saw that I was able to get another attack in. That attack deals enough damage to put him into phase transition, essentially. But I need to make sure that I have enough stamina to get 2 more attacks in, right? So that's why I don't just like kind of attack blindly, so that I can finish him off before he transitions to phase 2, where you're put into a cutscene and you have to run towards him. It wouldn't be that huge of a time loss, but it would be something. Also cheating, hello?
Yes, we turn on cheats just for this section. This section sucks.
Yeah, this section's boring, so I just turn on the Pegasus glitch that you might have seen if you watched my run from ESA Summer.
Yeah, yeah, just a joke,
year.
of course, but
Is it?
no.
Yeah, it's like part of a puzzle. In order to get to that tower that we ran around, you're supposed to find that invisible bridge, but it's pretty funny because sometimes people came into my stream and they were like, I thought it was this was glitchless.
Cheating?
Yeah. So now we are approaching Fire Giant. There's going to be a bunch of running around. After that, I'll be doing the level that I talked about. And before I get to Fire Giant, I think this is a perfect time to read a donation or two.
Wonderful, thank you very much. I have 2 wonderful donations here. I have a $5 donation from Message saying, could this be a charity? Therefore try Alzheimer Fund and Skeleton. And we also have a $200 donation
Wow.
from Peleke saying, let's go Frenzied Flame ending. I really love that. Thank you very much for your generosity. And yeah, with that, it's back to you, Carter.
Yeah, let the world burn.
Yeah, it's my favorite ending as well. Out of, well, there's 6 endings or 5, 6, but some of them are just kind of reskins of the default one. And then you have the Rani ending and the Frenzied Flame ending, and out of those, Frenzied Flame is probably my favorite. There's like an extra cutscene you can get with Melina as well, depending on the order of things and how you do things. So I think it's just really, really cool. It's also the rarest of the 3.
Really? I thought Age of the Stars would be the one with like all the stuff you have to go through and you need to go to.
You would think so, but the Sims go hard, dude. Like,
oh yeah, true.
when you look at the achievement list, which I've done recently, actually, that is the most common ending out of all the 3. Like, more common than the regular ending without any of the special requirements. Which is pretty funny.
Kata has a vid on that if you want to check that out. But
Damn, you're back on the commentary list for next time.
let's go.
All right, so here's Fire Giant. I'm going to buff, not too much though, because again, I don't want to deal too much damage. And I want to set up the poise to such a level that he's at a very specific poise level, just as I deal the final blow in phase 1, so that I can stagger with the 3rd charge R2 in phase 2. Let's see what he does. Okay, so I'm going to do a charge R2 to destroy this anklet. That's going to stagger him, and this is also his weak spot, so I'll be hitting that for some damage. Now a jump attack to it is going to stagger. I'm going to replenish my stamina to max. 2 more charge R2s to the weak point, hopefully. 1 more charge R2 as he's rolling away. Perfect. Now apply Frame Grant Me Strength, because I need as much damage as possible here. Replenish some stamina, wait for him to get down. His hand is the weak point in this phase. Get 2 more attacks in, dodge the Fire Tempest there, or Firestorm. Stagger, and now the eye as a weak point. I missed, that's fine though. Boom.
Okay, we got it. Nice. Clean.
Yeah, that was really well played. Didn't get unlucky either, so most of the time, like, that fight is going to be good, but sometimes he can roll away at the start of phase 1, like, just randomly, and then you have to chase him, and it's not good, because, again, we have buffs that are on a timer, so if we have to chase too much, the whole fight might be really messed up.
Yeah, and as you can see, we're absolutely stinking rich, so we'll be spending a lot of money here, and hopefully just getting absolutely insanely leveled.
Yeah. One more thing that, you know, I could get, like, extra vigor and stuff, and I will, because I actually need enough health to survive a specific attack, which will be part of a boss fight. If I don't have enough health and I get hit by that attack, it would completely mess up the strats for that. But I'm going to mostly level up strength. Excuse me. I would also, I'm going to level up strength to 70, which is actually a breakpoint that I need for the next upcoming fight to be able to do like a cool strat there. So I get 28 vigor, and then this is going to be enough for 70 strength. Then we talk to Melina. She's gonna yeet herself into the fire because of lore reasons. And we'll be transported to Far Missoula.
To commit, burn at my hand.
It's the first burn victim.
Far Missoula is this late game legacy dungeon that has a bunch of bosses in it. Some of them with remembrances, some of them without. The Godskin duo that's going to be coming up is not a remembrance boss, but we have to go through it anyways. There's a skip for it that you could do, but it involves glitching, and that's obviously punishable by law, so cannot do that. This is also the second time, because again, it will be Godskin. So Godskin Noble was the first boss fight that we did, and this is Godskin again, so we can put them to sleep, so we'll be abusing that. First, I'm also gonna do a nice bow cancel there. And yeah, we have to run through Far Missoula. These Farm Beastmen deal quite a bit of damage, so I want to make sure to get them off my ass, so I'll be quitting out here once. And this is like the perfect time to go ahead and plug some incentive for something that people can look forward to as I run through here.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you very much. So let me tell you a bit about what Alzheimer-Fonden does. So the goal of the console's work is to get maximum dividends on the research money for affected patients and their relatives. They also encourage collaboration between researchers at different universities, because there is currently no cure for Alzheimer's disease. However, current treatments can temporarily slow the worsening of dementia symptoms and improve quality of life for those with Alzheimer's and their caregivers. So every dollar counts, as always with charities, and it's going to a really, really good cause. And yeah, if you want to put your money towards one of our incentives, we do have some incentives for tomorrow's Tetra.io run with the 4-wide combo battle, which is basically Tetris, but just 4 squares wide, which sounds really insane. As well as the bonus cheese race, which is basically Tetris with, well, 1 hole in each row that is already given, and you have to race to clear all rows. So both of those have a total of $2,000, one of which is more than halfway done. So get your donations in if you want to see more Tetris, because Tetris is always nice to watch. Back to you, Cutter.
Thank you very much. So yeah, we've made our way through the first half of Far Missoula. I'll be taking this grace. It's mainly for safety, because you don't know what's going to happen. But basically this fight, like I said, is made up of, it's called Godskin Duo, but they will keep on respawning until you basically deplete their shared health bar. And in FromSoft games, you can actually deal damage to enemies that are dead already. But normally it doesn't matter, because their health bar is depleted. However, these guys have individual health bars, and they also have a shared health bar. So if you've ever seen the Four Kings fight in DS1, this is exactly the same thing that we're going to be abusing here. So I put them both to sleep with precisely placed bombs. I'm going to buff up. And then I'm going to do such a setup to deal as much damage to the Godskin Noble here as possible before riposting, right? So there's one more for a stagger. You can see it's very low.
Perfect.
Get the ripost. And after the ripost, I can get 2 more hits for an overkill. So you can see I'm damaging the cumulative health bar there, just like that. Replenish FP, rebuff. And I'm going to do the same thing here, hopefully. And hopefully the game is going to allow me to backstab, because we are kind of on the stairs. And yeah, okay, good. So after the backstab, I can get 2 more charge attacks, just like that.
So
and
good.
that's it.
GG.
That in 1 cycle. Boom. There you go.
Yeah, if we didn't get that, we would have to wait for the respawn, which just loses time. And obviously, we don't want that in a speedrun. And yeah, that was really good.
Yeah, that was really, really good. So yeah, this works in like the other FromSoft games as well, but there are not that many opportunities to exploit it. However, this one is a perfect one. Again, it's like exactly thought out. Like there were a couple of friends, you know, that helped me out with the setup. I can mention, you know, NPT Nuclear Pasta Tom and Ramon, who spent quite a few hours trying to help me out. We at some point were using throwing daggers and stuff like that, but in the end we found this setup that works really, really well. And the reason I actually backstabbed the Godskin Apostle, the thing guy, is because you cannot do the riposte in the front and then do 2 charge attacks, right? The animation is way too long. He like despawns. So that's why you have to do backstab on the second enemy, but you can just do a riposte on the first one.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know like they were different, but that makes sense.
Yeah, because you have like different recovery frames, and yeah, they despawn at different times. So here I'm gonna be going for again a neat skip to get past this like great bridge essentially in Fire Missoula. So I drop down around this Colosseum kind of elevator. I'm gonna use this Remembrance on it. I also prepare another Grace, this time Grand Cloister, which is the Lake of Rod Grace that we're gonna be coming back to. So here's a Beastman, I have to dodge him, like that. And then I'm gonna be parkouring around this ledge.
I hate this so much.
Yeah, this skip is very finicky. None of this is stable ground, so if I like fall off and have to quit out, I'll be put back up, but that was pretty easy.
Okay, good job.
Yeah, so we're back in bounds now, and I can climb up. I mean, basically dodging, not just running around the bridge, but there are angry and very aggressive birds on top of that bridge that can cause quite a bit of time loss. So
And the giant dragon.
and the giant dragon with lightnings, yeah. Speaking of giant dragons and lightnings, that's exactly where we're gonna go, but not yet. So here I basically have to backtrack a little bit to get to this Grace, because I have to come back here several times. So we take this Grace, and now this is like the perfect time to go kill Astel, essentially. Because I have to rest anyways, since I'm trapped again after entering Fire Missoula. So I have to rest in order to be able to warp. So we come back to Lake of Rods. We're gonna go down this part, Grand Cloister, and go to Astel. And hopefully Astel will be kind.
Yeah, how many remembrances are left at this point? I know we cleared out a lot. Okay, you have no idea. That's fair. That is fair.
Don't have my splits, so no idea, yeah. Still a couple, but we are getting close to like the end of the run. There's like a cool boss rush section essentially at the end with just not that much running around. Not on the horse anyways. And yeah, the fights are pretty cool. So I quit out here to de-aggro the enemies. I'm gonna re-equip my items again to be able to fully buff up. And also we'll be using Flame of the Red Mains for him. So Astel is another boss that takes extra damage to its head. So we'll be trying to abuse that as much as possible. And the problem with this fight is that if he decides to do some attacks, there are special attacks where I'm not really going to be able to stagger him. And I'm not going to really able to like touch him at all. So if he does that, it wastes a lot of time. And that means my buffs can run out. And I'm basically super reliant on these buffs to be able to kill him in one cycle before he teleports away. So I try to enter the fight, and I'm like applying the buffs in the fight as he's approaching me to save time and to also maximize my buff uptime. And let's see what we get. So that's an overhead, that's good. I have to roll this. I'm gonna roll the follow-up as well. I didn't have to. I'm gonna do 2 Flame of the Red Mains, see what he does. Okay, that's good. I'm gonna roll that. Flame of the Red Mains should stagger. I'm gonna go in front, charge R2 for the headshot. Go into a riposte. Now he's going to be staggered again. I'm going to do 2 more charge R2s to the head. He's going to start teleporting because he's past a certain threshold.
Nice.
Threshold, and there he is.
GG.
Nice.
Yeah, that was good. That's basically as perfect as that fight can get. So I must say that Miyazaki has been doing pretty okay this run. So now I have to wait for this elevator to come back. That is because, like I said, we are backtracking now, essentially, going to Placidusax, which is this great dragon that we have to fight. And Placidusax has a really neat fight as well. There's a lot of cool stuff that we can do there. And essentially, it's, again, it has several phases. Basically, you could split the fight into like 4 different phases. And the trick is to try and deal as much damage as possible before the phase transition, then stagger him to get as much damage before the actual transition happens. And that way, I can basically kill him in just phase 2. If you know, we are blessed with good RNG and I play it well, so we'll see how it goes. There's also the fight where I have to tank one of the lightnings. That's why I leveled up to be able to tank it. And it's part of the fight, because if I was dodging that lightning, I would basically not be able to stagger him before the phase transition happens. So bunch of bow cancels. I'll be re-equipping my stuff. Lay down, because that's what you do when you're tired. And let's equip the last item. I'm gonna buff up. I'm gonna approach him. And this is also where like the crouching to regenerate stamina is really, really important, because I need to get to him as soon as possible. So basically, as he starts doing his scripted opener, I'm gonna be hitting him in the meantime. Then I'm gonna roll the first lightning, use Flame of the Redmanes, and then hopefully be staggering him. So open up with one charge R2, another one, toggle my weapon, dodge, Flame of the Redmanes, another charge R2, tank this lightning, one more R1 to stagger, wait for some stamina, stagger there, make sure that I hit the head for extra damage, one headshot, two, into a riposte. As you can see, half of the health bar is gone, so he's going to be transitioning. As that starts, get two more charge R2s. Now I need to make sure to heal back up to full. Reapply my buffs, and wait for it to come down. I'm gonna, again, try to build up poise and stagger him, basically, as soon as possible. Okay, that's the worst RNG that you can get. I got hit as well, which is not a big deal, but that's literally the worst RNG that you can get, where he basically is guaranteed to just fly away into phase 3. Because he does that attack and immediately flies away. Because we dealt so much damage that not only did we reach the HP threshold to get to phase 2, but also to get to phase 3 immediately. Oh, that's great. So I have to wait for him to do his stuff. Let's see what he does now. Okay, here's the lightnings. Yeah. Well, here is phase 4. This is really unfortunate, but I tried to run to the wall so I can roll this drive-by and end up behind him. That is super important because he has like this laser attack that he's doing right now that is just like insane to dodge. But if I'm at the wall, then I can just stand beneath him like this, and he's lasering everything, but I can just keep on hitting him. So there he is.
Nice.
There we go. So we didn't get to see any of the phases being skipped. We got all the way to this last one. But based on the RNG that we got, we basically got the best outcome that we could. Like I said, very important, the positioning there at the wall, because if he does the drive-by, ends up being far away, like you just have to wait for him to do stuff, and it's awful. The laser does so much damage as well. It's not great. So here's going to be Maliketh. Maliketh is another fight where the boss is very squishy and doesn't have a high poise bar. It's actually only 2 Flame of the Redmanes to stagger. So I'm going to start the fight by buffing up. I make sure to only use Golden Wow and Flame Grant Me Strength. I want to keep the physic for the next boss fight. Replenish my FP. Hopefully I get a running opener. That's good. Flame of the Redmanes as he's approaching me. Roll the opener. Go away to strafe. Second Flame of the Redmanes for the stagger. That was kind of close. Charge R2 into a riposte. And another charge R2 is going to actually trigger phase 2 now. Now the neat thing about this is that the poise that I dealt at the end of phase 1 transitions also to phase 2, right? So I wait for him to do the jump. Strafe it. One charge R2, and the second one is going to stagger now. R1 as he staggers. Go in front of him. Riposte. And one more charge R2 as he's recovering, and there he is.
Nice.
Yeah, so this is like, again, a perfect example of the puzzling that I was talking about when it comes to bosses, right? Where essentially it's all about how can I deal enough poise damage to be able to just, you know, skip past the annoying parts of the boss fights without having him transition too early or too late or stuff like that. So
Yeah, there's been put a lot of thought into that just by the whole Souls community.
absolutely, yeah. So here I'm running through Lanedell. Again, this is because when Melina threw herself in the fire, well, actually, what she did is she got us to farm Azula, but now that we killed Maliketh, we basically get like Destined Death or whatever, release it to the Erdtree, so you can see the Erdtree is now burning and everything. So that's why Lanedell looks different now, basically like a different version of this entire area. And we can progress towards the late game bosses here. But we're not going to be finishing the run-up just yet, because we have more Remembrances to go still. We're going to be approaching Gideon. I make sure to buff up beforehand on this elevator, because that saves time. And as I do that, we can go ahead and read a donation.
Thank you, Kata. We have another $200 donation.
Let's go.
From Jan Mamrik, saying much love for catalystz and everyone else at my favorite marathon. Let's make sure everyone can remember these moments forever. I really like that. And that donation goes towards the language German for Star Wars Jedi Knight Jedi Academy that's coming up tomorrow. And with that, German is in the lead for that bid war at $261.90. English behind with $245. And French a little bit behind at 15. Spanish even more behind at 7. So if you want to change that, now's your time to donate. But let's watch those boss fights because they are looking great.
Oh.
Yeah, so I messed up the setup there on Gideon. Gideon is an NPC boss fight that basically gets the spells from the bosses that you've killed. There's a setup for him at the start that should make it pretty trivial, but I messed up a little bit. I did 2 charge R2s instead of 1 at the start. So one small mistake and you can see that the entire fight can turn into an absolute fiasco. Unfortunately, I was not able to set up like a loop on him afterwards, but we'll see. Hopefully the second attempt will be better. He's like an insane spammer. Like he basically has, you know, he has these spells, but he doesn't have any focus points. He can just keep on spamming all the time. Yeah, perfect example. We can see these are some of the spells that we've seen before, like this Skull Line from Rijkaard, for example. This is Mog's spell.
Renala.
Nice.
Oh yeah, this is something you don't want to mess up because normally the first time you fight him, he starts monologuing and you just go behind him and kill him. Now Kata's gonna have a hard time.
Yeah, basically the goal right now is to get to him without dying, and then trying to get him to like keep on rolling away and hit him with crouch attacks. Try to roll catch him essentially. So we'll see.
I hope you practiced PvP, Kata.
Sure I did, yeah. I'm a PvP enthusiast, obviously. Okay, he's approaching me, which is good. He's quite eager. Got a lot of ego this time. Okay.
Yeah, runes.
Sir? He has wall hacks, dude. See, it's the spam that I'm talking about. So he now has like an explosive on him. So I need to make sure that when I trigger that, I get away. Amazing. And he heals up. Great. Can the thing like explode already? No? The good thing is that he only has 1 FP flask, so he cannot HP flask, so he cannot heal again. Oh, it ran out. Okay, should be a bit safer now. Yeah, see, he's trying to heal, but he actually had no charge. Okay, pillar, excuse me. Okay,
Nice.
there you
Yeah,
go.
we got it.
Freaking Gideon.
Run saved.
So the good thing is that when you die to him, there's the stake of Marika right in front of the arena, so I didn't have to run back. But yeah, this fight can be like absolutely insane if you do not have the damage at the start to be able to do the setup. Fortunately, messed it up, but yeah, it's not a big deal. We got him in the end, and you got to see the pain again of NPC fights in these games. They're always the worst.
Yeah, man. Why can't Fia's champion just monologue at the start? That would be nice.
Yeah, that would be very neat.
Miyazaki, please get on that.
So this is like the same place where we are earlier, killing Morgoth. This time we're actually going to approach Godfrey instead. So I'm going to take this Grace.
Yeah, for some reason there's no stake outside this arena, even though there is from the other one. But yeah, it's not a long run back, so we'll be
Yeah.
fine.
I also took this, I took this Grace earlier, but because this is a different version of the same area, the Grace is also different, so I had to light it again and then rest. Here I'm only going to use the Physic because I actually do not want to have too much damage, because I need to make sure that there's enough poise build up as I transition to phase 2 to stagger him with 1 attack. If I buff my damage more, I won't be able to build the poise up. Okay, jump over that. No follow-up. Strafe this attack, we saw these earlier. Jump over that as well. It's gonna be doing AoE. Amazing. The AoE went off even though I staggered him already. But we dodged it. That would have been a one-shot, so I'm glad I dodged that. And now I need to make sure to do this charge R2 and charge R1. Sorry, and R1, and another charge R2. So that the build of the poise transitions to this phase and I can just stagger him immediately as he approaches me. Get the 2 charge R2s into riposte. Now he's gonna start buffing because I dealt enough damage. And 2 more charge R2s for the kill. There you go.
Using the multi-phases against them. Very nice.
Yeah. That's good. I don't like multi-phase bosses usually, so I'm glad that I'm able to actually exploit it in some way. So that was Godfrey, and now we basically have 2 more Remembrances left. That's the Elden Beast Remembrance, which is the last boss of the run, and then of course the fabled Malenia. That's everyone's favorite, probably the hardest fight in the entire FromSoft saga, modern FromSoft saga. I haven't played the old games, I don't know what boss fights there are in Kingsfield 1 through 4, but I don't think anything is as hard as Malenia is, so we'll see how it goes. But before her, we also have to deal with Loretta, and we also have to deal with a skip for this area. So this is kind of similar to the seal that we skipped in Celia, if you remember, when we were... Nice sniper. When we are approaching Radahn, you're supposed to light a bunch of fires here in order to undo the seal and be able to use the teleporter to enter the Halic tree. But there's a pretty difficult but neat jump that we can try. It might take a while, but basically there's like an invisible wall right here, but I can kind of clip on top of it. Like that. Okay, but I need to turn a little bit sooner. So you saw I got like a little bump after the second jump on the horse. I want to abuse that bump and turn to the side exactly when that bump happens and get around this wall. Like that. Ah! Come on. That was... I got scammed there. I thought that was it. Yeah, so you see me quitting out immediately, so I respawn back on the platform and can retry. If I quit out too late, I'm just gonna die to full damage.
Yeah, so that was too early instead. But yeah, that is really hard.
There you go.
There it is.
Okay, neat. So now we can just enter the teleporter and go to the Halic tree. This is like super late game area. This is the area with the highest scaling out of anything. So tons of things here will like two-shot me essentially. We have more of the ants that we were talking about earlier, except yeah, these ones have even more damage and more health and stuff. I'm gonna try to like not deal with any of them, but we'll see. There's gonna be a bunch of quit outs that I do. Otherwise it would be an absolute pain trying to run through here fast. So I make sure to drop in a specific way to not take full damage from the drop. I quit out as I land. We landed on the ant, but that's fine. Goomba stomped him.
We don't get any coins in this game, sadly. But yeah. We basically just have to run through this and just get to Melina. Are there any specific skips we do here or no?
There's basically bow cancels and just kind of like general pathing that you do.
Yeah, okay.
To get through it fast. There's gonna be a lot of enemies around, so you want to take specific. You want to take a specific path through the area to minimize resistance, essentially. Okay, I have to dodge these bubbles. They deal a lot of damage. I'm rotted. That's great. It's not a big deal because I will be taking this next grace here anyways. This is a small skip, I guess. You can slide down here, and then yeah, I have to go ahead and rest here to get rid of the rot. Now we're gonna run around this Misbegotten, and then there's gonna be zombie out of nowhere. But if you just go slightly to the left, you're gonna dodge him completely. Or he's just gonna run out.
What?
Yeah, that can sometimes happen. Where for some reason, instead of actually trying to grab you, he just aggroes to the side.
He was so eager to go, man.
Yeah.
Just wants to be on screen sooner.
The more ants that we try to, you know, avoid. And now I'm gonna heal up here, and as I heal up, I'm gonna quit out one more time. That's because of the Crystallion that's gonna spawn here, which has a really annoying wrench attack that it was doing right there. That would probably kill me, so I wanna avoid that. You know, dying is not fast. As we saw on Gideon, it's quite the opposite. Except for when dying is fast, when you use it for skips and stuff. a bit more parkour here. You can go through the building or above it. Above it is slightly faster. I tried to do another bow cancel. I did it a bit too early, so I'm going to go to partial one. Not a big deal. I'm going to send up the elevator for safety. It's a shortcut. Just in case something happened on Loretta. I quit out to get rid of this battle mage because these guys are insane. They deal so much damage. They're super tanky. That's why they're called a battle mage.
I mean, anything in this area at this point with our vigor will just one-shot. Yeah, so the next boss we're going to see is going to be the horse, but the real enemy, it's not going to be a pushover this time.
Yeah, so I'm going to be, again, setting up Flame of the Red Mane stuff. I buff in the corner here. Make sure to drink FP. It's going to open up with the phalanx every time. 1 red mains, 2 red mains for the stagger. Dodge the phalanx. Charge R2 to try and get her stuck in the corner in such a way. Okay, that's good. I can go ahead and do another charge R2 here as she jumps down. Another stagger. Recharge some stamina. And 2 more R2s should be
Nice, clean fight.
enough. Yeah, that was really good. We got really good RNG there. It's another one of those fights where essentially, if you get good RNG, it looks really, really easy. But she can easily also jump out of the corner and then the fight becomes an absolute mess. So that was good. This is another fight, once again, where, you know, the fact that Flame of the Red Manes actually deals 40 poise damage is super, super useful. They nerfed it, like I said at the start of the run, at 1.08 to only 10. So imagine, like, if I had to, you know, use 2 Flame of the Red Manes here to stagger Loretta, I would have to use 8 of them on current patch. So just basically completely unusable. Here, I make sure to favorite some graces again. Elden Throne, which is the one that we just took at Godfrey. And then I'm going to avoid the Scarlet Rot Knight here, and I'm going to make my way through the Halic Tree to get to the bottom of it and get to Malenia. And as I do that, this is a perfect time to read a donation, or 2.
Wonderful. You guys are crazy, you know that, because we have another $200 donation.
Wow.
This time from Drunken Shoe, saying Speed Fan blocked today. Very cool and very cool indeed. Thank you so, so much for that donation.
Thank you so much, Shu. Yeah, make sure to you know, keep tuning in as much as you guys can, because there's a lot of cool runs that you really don't want to miss. And if you do, check out the VODs. Tomorrow, me and a bunch of my friends have a pretty big block on stream 1 from like 4 p.m. local time to 8 p.m. I'll be doing one more run. I'm, you know, pretty known for Elden Ring and Dark Souls speedruns, but what I'm less known for is Prince of Persia speedruns, and I'll be doing one of those tomorrow, so I'll be more than happy to see you there. It's you could say it's different, but it also has a zipping glitch, which this game also has in the unrestricted category.
Certified Catalyst Classic.
Yep. So I got good RNG from these enemies. That guy can like attack me with the torch, which is sort of like an instant attack. And it's really hard to dodge, if not impossible. Gonna make my way through here, try to get some bow cancels. And this is where I'm actually gonna equip the dagger now.
Yeah, the one other time we want to be using it this run.
Yeah, that's because of the small lake with the rot in it. Because that inhibits my my movement ability. And I'm just gonna be able to quick step through it. I will still get rotten, but with full HP like this, I should be able to get to the next grace without dying. And if not, I mean, I have, you know, flasks, so it's all good. Damn, even avoided the rot, probably because I got brain rot from the Gideon fights. So game spared me. That's nice. I appreciate that. All right, unequip the dagger. Don't need it anymore. I'll take this grace. Normally, this is where I would rest, because I would usually have the rot triggered, and I would have to get rid of it. But let's not do that this time. However, I will be resting at the next grace, and the reason for that is I want to level up as much strength as I can. The Malenia fight is pretty long. Like, she has a lot of health and a lot of resistances, so the more damage I can get, the better. And then I also want to get more strength so that on the very last fight, basically on the very last hit of the last fight, I deal enough damage to have a guaranteed kill or guaranteed hit while Elden Beast is staggered. So we'll be leveling up one more time. You also saw me craft sleeping pods. That is because you can put Malenia to sleep. I mean, not really, but she can get staggered. And if she gets staggered with the sleeping pods, she takes extra damage. So we'll be trying to use that in phase 2, but we'll see how it goes, of course. It is, after all, the hardest fight in the run.
We haven't talked about the 1 HP memes, but we can talk about it briefly. Like, so in From Software game, I don't know why they added it or like what the reason is, but basically, if you've seen any Twitch clips, bosses in this game survive at 1 HP a lot. So we want to avoid that by leveling strength. Doing the buff routine here.
So when you enter the fight for the first time, it starts with a cutscene, and she always does the same attack. So I'm going to strafe it, open up with 2 charge R2s with a specific position, see what she does. Okay, she hit me. That's not good, but she's doing nothing. That should stagger. Okay. Now I'm going to do a charge R2, and we dealt so much damage that she's going to be in the waterfowl range, so I'll immediately start running away because I know she wants to do it. There it is. The fabled waterfowl attack. Roll the follow-up, roll R1, hit her mid-air, get wrecked. That's fine. Okay, we'll heal up. And wait for her to do something. No? Okay, we can strafe that. Wait for the follow-up. Charge R2. Got the good variant of that attack twice.
Yeah, and there you see it.
Yeah, speaking of 1 HP, eh? So you saw me throw a throwing dagger there. That's again to keep up poise. I'm gonna throw 1 pot, another dagger, another pot. And now hopefully the second charge R2 is gonna stagger. Boom. Go into a riposte. Into another charge R2. And if I'm lucky, she's gonna do another AoE. Or not. Okay, yeah, there's the AoE, that's good. I can run around her to confuse her, reapply my buff, heal back up, run in such a way to tank the rot, but be able to do 2 charge R2s to her. R1 for the stagger, and jump attack for the finish. There you go.
Nice.
That was alright. Phase 2 was pretty good. Phase 1, obviously not the cleanest, but it's all good. Alright, so now we go to Elden Throne. This is going to be the last boss fight of the game. Radagon and Elden Beast. Radagon can be very random, so we'll see what we get. Again, there's a very specific plan that I have for staggering him before the transition to his second phase, essentially. And then he's scripted to do a specific attack that I can punish really well and kill him afterwards. But we'll see. And then for Elden Beast, I have a similar plan, essentially. But, you know, I'll see what happens. I'll open up with a running attack into a charge R2 for a stagger buildup. And then, yeah, let's see what RNG we get. Roll this one, see what follow-up I get. Okay, cannot strafe that one. Try to strafe this. Charge R2, that's a good attack. Roll it, charge R2 will stagger. Wait for stamina, riposte. Now I'm gonna do another charge R2 and he's gonna start jumping. Actually, he's not even gonna jump. I think I skipped that completely. Oh, okay, I didn't. That's fine, I'll get hit. I wasn't quite sure what he was gonna do because I dealt so much damage. Now he's gonna teleport away. I used the pickled turtleneck that we got at the very beginning of the run, so that I get more stamina regen. Strafe this. 1 more charge R2 for the finish. Okay, 1 more for the finish. Reapply my buffs before the Elden Beast part of the fight starts. And this is where I need the pickled turtleneck so that I can actually get 5 charge R2s before it swims away. I mean, the swim that can happen here isn't guaranteed, but if it happens, I'll be able to hit it as it's starting to swim away. So that's 3 and 4. There's the swim. Boom for the stagger, just as it's swimming away. Crouch R1 for a little bit of extra damage necessary. 2 more charge R2s into a riposte. And now this is where, with enough strength, I can do 1 more charge R2, and that is it. Plop. And that is the final boss fight
Good
of
job,
Elden Ring.
Kratos.
All Remembrances. Glitchless. Get ready on the button. My dude. My epic dude. And guy.
And wait a little
Not
bit.
yet. There's more cutscenes to be skipped. And time. There we go. Yay, didn't have to get mercy killed. That's nice. That's good. Yeah, so that was Elden Ring, All Remembrances, Glitchless. It's one of the coolest categories that we have. I'm super happy I got to show it off here. Thank you so much, everybody, for the generous donations throughout the run. I think you guys enjoyed the run, given the generosity that you've shown us. Of course, thank you, ESA, for giving me a chance to be here again and to contribute to a great cause. Thank you to my wonderful commentators, who I'll be happy to have on my couch any day, anytime. And thank you to the great audience behind me that cheered me on, that stayed up very late for me. Thank you so much, guys.
Yes,
Thank
thank you.
You were awesome. Thank you. And as I said, there are many, many great runs still coming up. We're only getting started, so keep on enjoying the marathon. There's a lot more to come. And that's going to be it from me for today, but I'll be back tomorrow. Until then, take care of yourselves. Stay safe. Stay cool. Bye-bye.
Thank you, catalystz. It was a wonderful run. I was sitting at the edge of my seat the whole time because, wow, just wow. You know, I have one last donation for you. $5 from Millennia.
Oh,
saying,
God.
I am Millennia, blade of Mikela, and I have never known defeat. Except that one time I got beaten by a dancing woman. But that doesn't count, right?
Yeah.
Well,
doesn't
I'm
count.
not sure, but this was the second time, so...
Make that two.
Yeah, make that two.
Make that two.
Thank you very much, and guys at home, guys here in the audience, we'll be right back after a quick intermission.
Bye-bye.
Don't go too